We actually need an intro song to this. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. This is episode 3 with Ruby Robles. Today is sponsored by, again, whiskey and Taco Bell cucumber water, looks like. What is that?
It's just water. The cup is courtesy of Taco Bell.
There you go.
Anybody that knows me knows that I'll save a cup until it falls apart. And when it does, I take electrical tape, and if it gets a hole, I'll tape it just to keep that cup.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why I do that.
Do you have a bunch of Taco Bell cups in your cupboard?
No, I eventually throw them out. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll double the cup, like this one. I'll put it in an empty one. I don't know, just to make it more insulated, maybe. I don't know. I don't know why I don't throw them away.
Because you're a hoarder, Mom. You like to hoard.
I don't know. It's a perfectly good cup, and when it starts falling apart, I'll try to save it, but eventually it ends up going.
Joanne does that with jars. So we have like a buttload of jars in the cupboard. We have like old, we get the pickled asparagus or the jalapenos. Those are really good, but then she likes the ones that are like oddly shaped, but they don't fit in the cupboard very well.
So she likes the jars that are smaller on the bottom and they kind of open up bigger.
Or like they're shaped like a heart, or, they're just weird
like
shape.
a decorative
but it's
glass.
Like, yeah, there's no reason to keep it. We have so many. So
maybe she's hoping to use do a craft with it. That's why I do a lot of that stuff.
That doesn't happen, so I end up throwing them away when she doesn't notice. Saying, "Oh, this accidentally disappeared. I don't know where that went." Well,
yeah. She knows if she's got a little bit of hoarder in her. She'll know it's disappeared.
Well, she likes the big ones, so those are the ones she actually uses. So the ones like we have the pickled asparagus in, they're like pretty good size. So she'll put like water in it and take it for bed.
In the jar, she'll drink water out of that.
Yeah.
See, I like to use the mayonnaise. I buy mayonnaise jars that are plastic. They're plastic mayonnaise jars. Like they look like they're glass, but they're plastic. Yeah. And I keep those because mice like to get into my rice or whatever. So I put like my dry stuff in that. And then, keep those jars, and I put like macaroni in them. Because I've had to buy 2 different size macaronis. I've had to buy tiny macaronis for my mom and my brother so they can swallow them. Yeah. So the tiniest macaroni I'll put in those jars.
Like that comes in like Kraft macaroni and cheese, because I always consider those small macaronis.
Kind of, but these are a little bit smaller, and you get them at in the Mexican aisle at Winco is where I get them. They're like 33 cents a package. Wow. And I can make 2 meals for my brother out of one little package. But they're real tiny macaronis, and then they have the little alphabets and the little stars, and I haven't used those yet. But things like that I put in those mayonnaise jars. But my daughter came by one day, and I thought, man, I know it's hot out there. She just got off work. She's coming straight over here. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make her something cool. So I didn't have any celery, but I had some strawberries. Yeah. So I just put water and a ton of ice in one of those jars, and then sliced strawberries up in there, and then just put just a little bit of, or maybe I didn't. I put strawberries in it, and I might have put. I like to buy the Ocean Spray packets, the little, like the single serving.
I know what you're saying.
Because they're sugar free.
The electrolyte thing, like Gatorade, whatever they are.
Yeah, and so I threw that in there for her, and then when she came, I handed her that mayonnaise jar, and it was just, you just see the sweat bubbling off it, but it was refreshing for her. So that's why I use them. That's why I keep them. Yeah. I use them for storage or, the drink. And then that's what just sounds like what Joanne's doing.
No, she just likes jars. She just likes different.
She just likes jars.
We got wine bottles. We got everything. Anything that looks pretty or that she likes, it's like it ends up being kept.
So I forgot what kind of wine she likes, but yesterday when I was at Costco, I was looking at the wines for her birthday. Yeah. And they had this really, really pretty bottle of wine, and I thought, I don't want to get that because she probably won't drink it because she doesn't like it.
Well, the only one we don't like is that Carlo Rossi one. The one that you and Richard got, that big-ass one.
Oh, the cheapy one? Yeah, we bought that just as a joke.
I know it was not good.
Well, it was there, and I go, let's get him this great big. I think it was like almost a gallon of wine.
Well, you can probably go wrong with wine, but almost, if you stick with like the you can just even get one that just says red wine.
Mm-hmm.
They're all right. I mean, we're not that picky.
Yeah,
we have our favorites.
Well, I think what you need to do with that, you still have that gallon?
I don't think so.
You sure she hasn't emptied it and kept the gallon?
I think we kept it for a while, but I think I threw it out.
Because I was going to say, you drink your good wine, and then when you don't care anymore, you drink the cheap shit.
No, it wasn't even.
It was bad, huh?
Yeah, it was like, oh my God, how do people drink this? This is disgusting.
Yeah, I think me and Richard, Richard, my brother, I love you. You silly goose. Yeah, he had a good sense of humor.
He did.
Yeah, he really did.
He liked to joke on people and stuff.
Oh, yeah, he had a great sense of humor. What was your question? Did you have a question? What's this?
Her question was, she wanted to know the best moments, right? Or best memories of each kid. So me, Felicia, and Tiba. What was your
each kid or grandkid? Kid?
Yeah, your kids.
Oh my gosh. Best moments of my kids. I can remember the scariest, easiest.
Start with Tiba. Let's go from
I will.
Oldest to youngest.
Best memories of Tiba. The first thing that comes to mind every time I think of my kids is the tragic things that happen, because I think that
those ones
pulled
stick out.
So much emotion out inside me that they just stick like a cut.
Yeah.
So when I think of Tiba, I think of her burns when she got burned. And then how much of a struggle it was for her to learn how to walk again because her feet and her hands were burned. So she would just sit with her little feet, bandaged in her hands, and she'd just sit there and try to eat, but she couldn't because they were bandaged.
How old was she?
She was, oh my gosh, a year and maybe around a year.
I thought wasn't that the burn in the car?
No, that was Felicia.
I know they all got burned. We all got burned at one point.
Yeah, I'm going to tell about yours. Yours wasn't the burn though.
Let's to give the audience
history.
Give the story of how she got burned, I guess.
So when Tiba was a baby, a little girl baby, I rented my first house. And in this house, there was a corridor, a little hallway that went to the bedrooms and the bathroom. And then there was a wall, and then there was another hallway that went to the kitchen. So you had two hallways going that way.
To the same space.
Yeah, kind of. But this one led to bedrooms and bathroom. And then you could go to the kitchen after you went past the bedrooms, I guess. And this way, you could go all the way to the end of the kitchen and then come back through the bedrooms and then come back through the bathrooms. Okay. So you could circle. But this hallway that was by the bathroom had a floor furnace in it, a gas floor furnace. And then it had a metal grate that was above that furnace.
Hold on, let me pull up a gas...
Old.
What is it? A gas floor furnace?
Mm-hmm.
See if you can find that, because I don't know what this looks like.
Okay, it sat in a big metal box in the floor. There was a metal box, and then there was this, it looked like an old radiator. The old radiators.
Yeah.
So, like this. That was the grate, but inside was...
That's the intake, right?
That's the grate that you walk on.
Yeah, but...
And then inside, underneath this, you lift that up around the edges. You lift it up, and there's a metal box, a huge box that contains this. What it looked to me like was the old radiators.
Yeah.
The metal looked like they had like an old radiator. You know what a radiator is?
Like a house radiator?
Yeah, the old steam radiators.
Yeah, look up a steam radiator, Millie.
That for heat, a steam radiator for heat. It had this thing inside this metal box under that.
Yeah, like one of those.
From what I could see, it looked kind of like something like this in the box. Like this, maybe, but out. So that was a gas heater. That was. And those things are supposed to sit underneath that grate at least 1.5 feet. They're supposed to sit under that far. This one was probably 6 inches under it.
Yeah.
And so it was winter, and she had a diaper on. She was walking, and she was going to go take herself to bed. And I gave her a kiss, and I was talking to someone, and I turned, and next thing I know, she's screaming, and I look, and she had walked straight over that heater, and it was on, and that metal was hot.
Oh, man.
So when her little feet touched that, they burned it, and she fell and put her hands on it.
Yeah.
So I went over and grabbed her up, and thank God there was snow outside, and I put her in the snow, and then that friend of mine, I had no car, took us to the hospital. And at that point, they had to cut the dead skin that had rolled.
No.
And then she had those.
She was awake the whole time?
Mm-hmm. And they had cut that skin where it burned, and it kind of opened. It cut it and opened and rolled it. So they cut that off and sterilized it, and then wrapped. So she had like little boxing glove gauze, and then on her feet. And one of her toes almost burned her toe off because it went right in the crack.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
God damn.
the way it hit her, the way she stood and the weight.
Yeah, like
because what she did was when she fell, she tried to lift one foot and she tried to lift one hand. Thank God her face and her whole body didn't fall on that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's the tragedy. The best, it just took a lot of memory as she grew. She was a good kid. I think that the most fun, because I only had her for like 3 years before I had the next one.
Yeah.
So that was the first year, and it took probably about 4 months for her to heal and then start walking again and stuff. And then she got chicken pox. So then it was, another worry. And then she got shingles, and then there was another worry.
Oh, she got shingles?
Yeah, on her back, across her back, where her diaper was. Mm-hmm. And then,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I just think that it was just her and I.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any. I didn't let her go outside a lot. She was a good baby. Smart. But I don't remember her, there was no activities where I could go, yay! She just progressed as a normal child. She picked up really easy. She talked fast. She walked fast. She was just a really good little girl. But I didn't allow her to socialize. Because I didn't go anywhere. And I didn't want her getting dirty. I had a real bad phobia about cleanliness back then.
Yeah.
Bad. So I didn't want her getting dirty. Hair had to be done, clothes had to be clean, and she couldn't get dirty. But then I had Felicia. So then my focus went over to Felicia, where I wasn't really caring if Tiva got dirty, I guess. So, just that she was a good kid. I don't have any exceptional good memories, like, oh my goodness, she ran a marathon, or there was nothing exceptional. It was just everyday life.
Yeah, she did drill team, right?
No, when she was, I thought you meant when she was little.
Oh, I think whenever.
Just
you
as
could
my,
do it. You could do it yesterday if you wanted, I guess.
Just any memory of my kid up until this time?
Yeah. Remember yesterday when she brought you something?
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that has to be when they're young.
Yeah, I thought you meant just when they were little.
No, but I mean that's good because I didn't know that whole story. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I did, but I forgot it. But
I just think that I was really proud of her because, first of all, she got super good grades. Super good grades, and and violin. I loved that she could play any instrument without knowing how to read music.
Her and Flea both had that skill of music. I didn't have that shit.
Yeah, she's super talented that way. It's like, what are you playing? She's like, I want to play violin. So, of course, we got her the violin. And then she taught herself how to play that. And then at one point we had a piano. And she taught herself how to play the piano from just looking at the book. And then later on, a couple years later, she's like, I want to play the clarinet. And I go, well, you don't know how to play it. And she goes, oh, I'll learn. And so she takes this clarinet and she goes outside and she's marching around the backyard in circles and she's playing this clarinet, getting used to the noise.
Yeah, I think she was learning
each
the
sound.
notes.
And then she taught herself how to play the clarinet. I mean, she's talented that way.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I think those are good things. Her drill team, and and then she had my Joey at an early age. So
yeah, 16.
I'm kind of glad she did because
Same
I'm
age-
still here.
Same age you had her, though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, both because you're both 16.
I think we're both 16,
Yeah.
which is good because now I get to still enjoy him being around. You know.
Do you think it's a good thing to have kids?
Young?
Maybe not that young, but young.
Back then, yeah. For me personally,
I think now people live longer and seem to be more healthy as they get older. Like, I have a friend that has a 8-year-old, I think, and he's older than me. And I'm like, I don't know if
you're
I could
scared
do
that
that.
he's gonna be gone.
No, I don't think he's scared about that. But I don't think I could have kids. I don't think I could have anything under 15 right now.
What was that? I was talking to Joey. Joey's my grandson that lives with me, but I was talking to Joey, or I think it was Joey, and somebody had. We were just watching it. They have adult children, and then this person. Oh, Gordon Ramsay, the chef.
Yeah.
We were watching him day before yesterday at night. And I go, he goes, I'm going to put Gordon Ramsay on. It was his, he was in his kitchen and he was going to make fish and chips for his quick fish and chips, like 10-minute fish and chips. And he had his daughters on the other side and they were filming him. And they filmed his wife, this is the wife and this is their baby. And they have a little baby, like he's like 2 or something.
Wow.
And his daughters are like in their 20s.
Yeah, but he's like 50
and then
right?
And then he's got this little guy named Oscar. He's got this little baby, and he's got these grown people that are his kids. And I think I look at Joey, I go, oh, hell no. There's no way I could do that all over again.
Yeah.
I just can't.
It's just too much time and money.
Well, it's not that. It's just your body gets more exhausted.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I was doing things with these guys, I had all the energy in the world, and I was 40. I was in my 40s with her. I could take her anywhere. It was like she was my own kid. It was no problem. It wasn't. I didn't get tired carrying her, or I didn't get tired of being there for her beck and call. You know. Now it's like, oh my God, kid, what do you want now? For the great grands?
Yeah.
I can give them out of an hour, I can give them about 20 minutes.
And then your patience.
And then it's like, oh, come on, give me a break. Don't ask me for nothing
I'm done
yet.
with this.
I can't do the constant.
Too much.
It's just too much. And it's tiring for somebody our age. It's tiring.
Our age? I'm not the same age as you.
No, but if you're over 40, you start feeling it. I'm kind of lucky though because I had that.
I started feeling it at 30. I was like, oh, this is too much.
I'm kind of lucky because my employment kept me hopping. They were my babies.
Yeah.
And so they kept me going. And now that I've had the downtime, oh my gosh. I can hardly get my own butt out of bed.
Right.
So anyway, Tiba's accomplishments with music and drill team and Joey and I think you said favorite moments, but when they got to be teenagers, they kind of had their own moments. They didn't share those moments with me.
Yeah.
They were kind of with their friends, and so any type of moments.
Well, I think at that age too, it wasn't that we were with our friends. It was that you work so much, right? Because I remember you worked
12-hour shifts. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you worked at the jail, and and I want to say you were working at the jail, and you were doing side jobs. So you had the job at Made of Clover too, right? Was that when you were at jail? I think you were. So you were working like 18-hour days.
No, I was working an 8-hour day. We were 8-hour shifts at the jail that time. That's the only way I could do that other job. And then I'd get home at 3:30. Try to make sure I knew where you guys were, get you fed or whatever, and then try to lay down.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to be at Mediclover at 6:30 at night, and then I closed it at 2:30 in the morning, and I'd have to be at the jail at 7.
Yeah, and I don't. That always impresses me because I know that I think you're around. I want to say 32 to 36, somewhere between there.
When I did that,
yeah,
I was doing that to pay for Joey's daycare, so Tuba could stay in school.
But what I'm saying is, I couldn't imagine doing
32.
that.
32.
At
I
that
was
age.
32.
Well, you were doing that for Joey's daycare. Plus, we were living alone, so you were supporting us, and you were trying to keep us in a good neighborhood because we were living up here, off Mulder Drive at the time, so it was a good neighborhood. You know, it was better than the best place we had lived at that point.
Oh, Delmar?
Yeah.
Delmar.
Yeah, because I said Mulder. Yeah, Delmar Terrace. Sorry. So, because before then we lived by the college, right? Across the street from the college, and the little.
That was an act of desperation rental.
Yeah.
That was I need to move out of this relationship, so I'm going to rent it. And I paid rent with change. That woman took a bunch of change from rent. It was one of those, like, I can't do this anymore. I'm out of here. I got to find a place. I got to get out of here.
But it was like, we were always living like, that was the biggest house we lived in, right? Delmar? No, 18th was. 18th was 18th Ave. So maybe that was the nicest place.
Yeah, but it was too big.
Anyway, you were trying to support us and keep us in a good area and keep us living life as normal. So, I understand now. I think at that time I probably didn't understand why you were gone so much, other than you were at work. I don't know about the girls, and I think it's not that we didn't want to share the time with you. It's just that we couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you probably don't have many, I guess, good memories that time because you weren't around, Mom.
Well, I think for me, you gotta put the definition on good memories. So for me, when I look back at my kids, and I told somebody this, I don't know, this happened to me a couple years ago, and don't ask me why I was up here. I can't for the life of me remember, and I have a good memory. I was in Wenatchee for some reason, by myself, because there was nobody else with me in my car.
Was that the police academy?
I don't even know what the hell I was doing now. Yeah, it wasn't very long ago. I would say that this happened 8 to 10 years ago. I was in Wenatchee, and they have a park in Wenatchee where you can there's like a swimming area. It's a park that has a swimming area. And I remember parking, and I must have had to use the restroom or something. So I walked to the restroom, and then I came back to my car, and there was a woman there with 3 little kids. And the little kids weren't doing anything. They were probably your guys' ages when you guys were little.
Yeah.
And they were making little kid noises like, ee, and they were chasing each other around. They weren't far from her. And they were playing. And she was on their ass. Get over here. Da-da-da-da. And I kind of sat there and watched her. And she wasn't super mean, but she was mean enough because they weren't doing anything wrong. Yeah. I think that she was frazzled, maybe. And I saw myself in that woman, and those babies were like my babies. Yeah. And I thought, if she only knew what I know now, my kids were angels. Yeah, to me you were. My kids were well behaved. You guys weren't stabbing each other. Well, yeah, weren't trying to stab each other.
Well,
or
maybe.
Teddy.
One of us was.
But you know,
Teddy.
But my kids were good kids compared to kids that I know.
Yeah.
My kid, a little squeal, piggy squeal here and chasing this one and running up behind the other one and tugging their hair and running around in circles and making all the kid noises. That's nothing. When I was young, to me, that would have irritated me too. And I would have said, sit down right next to me, behave. Now, being older, I looked at that woman and I felt bad because my kids were good kids. And those little kids are were good kids. But she was so frustrated with their noise, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Maybe she just. I think a lot of factors play into how people treat each other and their kids, and I think maybe like you, she was struggling to make a living or to do whatever to make her life better. Mm-hmm. Probably wasn't happy with life. That has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone's not happy with their life, they don't treat others like they should be. So I think you probably did see a lot of you in her because you were probably at you were at that point in your life at one point.
Yeah.
And so now she's probably in the same situation, doesn't know how to handle it, and just taking it on the kids.
It was just really weird. It's like, usually a person wouldn't even notice something like that. I would have got in my car and, just thought, shut up, stop yelling at your kids, or, God, your kids are noisy. I would have thought something like that. But I just kind of sat there and I watched it, and it was like watching myself with my kids. It was like watching a movie of me years ago with you guys. And then thinking, why did I act like that? And then realizing now that my kids were super good back then. And don't say, no, we weren't. These were little kids, though. These were little kids.
I mean, I just remember.
This is like you being 2 and Felicia being 5 and Tiba being 8. Yeah. My kids were good kids, man. I pretty blessed.
So I
don't know what the hell happened to them now. They're
it doesn't have to be
fucked up.
I would say it doesn't have to be your favorite moment, but what's a memorable moment for Felicia? Her burn too.
Actually,
we all got injured at one point in our lives.
Felicia's was her burn, and her burn was me out picking cherries with my kids in the morning, trying to make an extra $1 or $2 because we were on public assistance. Yeah. And so we'd go out and pick cherries during cherry season, and I'd take my kids with me, and I had a playpen for him. And as the weather got warmer, I'd put the playpen out and put him in it and continue to pick. And I had a girlfriend with me, and we both smoked cigarettes, and she brought matches. And my oldest daughter got a hold of the matches, I guess. And now the story has changed that she says that she wanted to experiment and see if the blanket would burn or something would burn. Anyway, a blanket caught fire. My middle daughter's pants caught fire, and it burnt the inside of her leg pretty bad.
So it was matches? I thought it was the cigarette lighter.
No, it was a book of matches.
The old style push cigarette lighters.
No, Judy had matches. Oh. But
stop playing with matches, T.
So my kids were in the car when this happened because it was cold outside in the mornings. When anybody gets up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, they know that there's dew outside and it's cold outside, and you're wearing a long sleeve shirt when you start picking, and then 9 o'clock, 9:30 comes around and the sun starts coming out. You start shedding the clothes, and probably pulled my kids out of the car about 10:30. But they were parked right next to me, so luckily I hear them screaming, and I'm like, why are they fighting? And I'm on a ladder. And I look down from the top of that ladder, and I see orange in the front of through my windows of my car. And I'm like, is that the sun reflecting off the car? And then they're screaming. My babies are screaming.
That's Tiba dropping nukes on Felicia.
Well, I tell you, my whole bucket of cherries dropped because I went down a couple rungs and then jumped because I could see my little girl in the back trying to hit her pants.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it out.
And then when I opened the front door, when I opened the driver's side door, my little boy was just glued up against the passenger side. He was just glued to that door, looking scared. And I grabbed my daughter, and
I just have to say that was probably the first time I saw someone drop it like it was hot.
He was a baby. But anyway, I grabbed her and pulled her out, and She had allergies, so I would, when we would go places, I'd put diapers on her in case she had an accident.
Yeah.
And thank God I had a diaper on her. She was 3, but I had a 3 or 4, almost 3.5 maybe. I had a diaper on her. And when I pulled her out, I pulled her pants off because they were melting. And I think the diaper, since it was wet, was what kept her
from the rest of it burning.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of pants did she have on?
They were like a polyester.
That's what I thought. Like
plastic.
Because when you said they melted, I was like,
they melted. They melted.
Yeah, ouch.
And they melted to her skin. So.
And you ripped it off of her.
Ripped it off of her. Told my girlfriend, "I go, let's go, let's go, let's go."
Whose car was it?
It was the Charger. It was your dad's.
Oh.
And so we were in Zilla, and I had these little tiny whiskey bottles that your uncle had sent me. They were airplane whiskey bottles. And I think I had one under the seat. And this is something you don't want to do, but I was, oh God, how old was I when I had you? 21?
Yeah.
So I was like 21 or 22 or up there.
Probably about 22, 23.
Somewhere in that area. Dumb. But anyway, I grabbed that.
You were Mia's age.
Oh, shit. Dumb. No. But anyway, I grabbed that whiskey bottle. I had my little baby next to me, and we didn't have to have car seats back then. And
Malia, I need a paper towel.
God, Michael, get him a diaper, would you?
I'm sorry. I spilt a little bit.
So, I had her sitting next to me, and we were just hauling ass to Toppenish. My girlfriend had you on her lap. I had Felicia next to me, and I remember telling her, "Drink this." And I made her drink that whiskey.
To like dull the pain?
I guess I thought that was going to help her.
You watch too much movies.
So I made that baby take a big mouthful of that whiskey. I'm surprised the hospital didn't fucking...
They're like, what is on this girl's breath? It smells like Yukon Jack.
I think it was... no. What was it he sent me? Because it was my favorite. Old Granddad.
That sounds like a cologne.
Old Granddad whiskey.
I'll have to ask Felicia if it was even good.
She wouldn't remember. She was only 3. Wow. I'm giving a baby whiskey. I told her to take a big mouthful.
She doesn't like whiskey.
I don't know. But anyway, she was in Toppenish Hospital for a week. And they did the scrub thing. And But with her, that's her traumatic thing that, I think about all the time. And when I think about these things, I think how lucky I am. I start crying that I still have my kids.
Yeah. Don't cry, Mama.
But anyway, so with Felicia, she struggled, in school. I mean, she's smart. Yeah. But I think that she just...
she's stubborn.
She's very stubborn.
Yeah, that's her downfall right now. I love you, Flea, but you are super stubborn. You don't want to take advice from anybody. I think she's always been. Do you need a?
I'm sorry.
Do you need a?
Just thinking about
Malia,
that.
I think we need some tissue paper.
No, I've got my cleaners. But
go ahead and get some anyway.
No, my Felicia, she has a lot of issues. I mean, she was a sickly baby. Yeah. Like I said, she had food allergies and
what kind of food allergies? I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know she had food allergies. She had to wear a diaper. She'd have accidents all the time because she couldn't hold it in. It just kind of...
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so I kept saying, why is this baby always shitting her pants?
Yeah. Was it the milk, maybe?
Well, I thought it was milk. And then I can't remember what happened. I ended up having surgery or having to go to the hospital or, thank you, honey, having to do something. And my mom had the kids. Had you guys. I don't know why. Right? Yeah. And when I went and picked her up, she says, I think I know what's wrong with her.
Tilt that mic towards you, Mom. Sorry.
And I said, well, what is it? And my mom said it was orange. Like orange juice. That was causing her to just not past solid waste. It was
Yeah.
always watery.
Did you give her a lot of orange juice?
Yeah, because when you're on public assistance, they give you free
Oh yeah, they do.
orange juice, frozen orange juice, right? And so it was like, it wasn't just orange juice. It was like orange candy, any orange flavoring kind of.
Yellow number 5.
I don't know.
Shit like that.
I don't know. So when we stopped that, the problem stopped.
Mm.
But I put her in the hospital for that even.
I think I remember that. I think I remember that she was allergic to oranges for some reason.
But yeah. It
like
just,
a weird memory.
yeah. So I had her in the hospital, oh my gosh, 2 weeks maybe, when she was like maybe 4 months old, because she was just pooping water.
Really? Was she like dehydrated?
They didn't tell me what was wrong with her. I had to walk up to the hospital to visit her because I don't know what was. It was like she couldn't keep anything this way or that way.
Oh, so she was throwing up too?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And being real little.
Yeah.
She was little. So she had that issue. She had the burn issue. And then she started having her migraine headaches.
When she was a baby?
No, when she was 14.
Oh.
But I never knew that they were migraines until she was 18. But she said she'd been having them since she was 14. So she's kind of been a sickly girl. But I'll tell you what, that girl...
Oh, that's what makes her tough, too.
She is my little man woman, I call her. And
little man witch.
Or as her son calls her, Bruce.
Bruce.
One day we were talking, her daughter and I were talking about her being a manly woman and how she doesn't put up with crap, and it's kind of hard to be in a relationship when you're very strong-minded like she is.
Yeah.
And my grandson was cooking. He was listening in the kitchen. He goes, "So where is Bruce anyway?" So
why does he call her Bruce, though?
Bruce Jenner.
Oh. I don't think Felicia's that manly.
I know. He just said it, though. He goes,
funny.
"So where is Bruce anyway?" And I thought, and we just died laughing.
That's her new nickname now.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, her nickname is Duke.
Duke?
Her coworkers call her Duke.
When the fuck they call her Duke?
Because she...
Like, fuck
she
no,
had
you
a
don't call me
big...
Duke.
She braided... She's got really long, thick hair, and she braided it in this braid. And somebody made a comment to her at work years ago, and she said it's called a dookie braid. Black people call them dookie braids. And so they call her Duke.
Dookie braid.
That's what look up dookie braid. It's a real thing.
Do not look up
It
dookie
is
braid.
no, it seriously is a hairstyle.
I do
It's
not
a
want to
braid.
kicked off the internet.
It's a braid. It's a kind of a braid. It's called a dookie braid.
Still, I would not want to be that would not I would not want that to be my nickname.
So they call her Duke.
If I was rolling with dookie braids.
So, but she, I have to say, my proudest time with Felicia has been ongoing, and I think that's true for all my kids. It's not just one thing; it's ongoing. And Felicia, I'm so proud of her for being as strong as she is with her illnesses that she has. She's raised 3 children and worked a graveyard shift and went to school at the same time. She ended up getting a job, makes hell more money than I do, or did.
Yeah.
Even with the migraines all the time. And I hate talking about them because, I think it's something that she might have inherited from me. Because I used to get migraines all the time.
Yeah.
But they're a different kind. Hers are really...
Hers are constant.
Hers are very, very bad.
Yeah. I think it's personally... I don't know if I mentioned this. Probably just the amount of sodium she eats. 'Cause she likes salty stuff. She used to eat ramen noodles all the time.
People that get migraines crave salt. And some people that I know... I have a coworker, or ex-coworker when I was working, that him and I were on the same migraine meds. With him, you could tell he was getting one because he'd do his neck all the time. He'd be sitting there and then he'd try to he'd be doing this and stuff.
Oh,
And with
he gets tension migraines. That's what I get.
and with me, I yawn. Oh my gosh, I yawn. I yawn and I yawn and I yawn and I've always yawned.
When you get migraines, really?
But my migraines have changed the way they are. In the past, when I was in my 20s, when you guys were little,
Yeah.
when I was going to business college, I'd get migraine headaches while I was at school, and it would just take everything I could do to walk from the college to go to daycare to get you guys, and then walk home. And what I would end up doing with you guys was telling you play in the bedroom, and I'd have you guys play in the bedroom with the door shut, and then I'd lay down on the couch for an hour. But what I would do is I'd go make myself try to throw up. And
Did you get dizzy because of the migraines?
your head just pounds and you don't want to look at light.
Oh, I know what migraine is.
I didn't get dizzy.
But yeah, it's like I get to the point where I have to lay down and go to sleep, or I'm gonna probably throw up. But I've never thrown up.
Well, I would force myself to try to throw up. I would stick my finger down my throat and try to throw up, because all the time while I was at school, I'd be yawning, and I thought, I have a headache. Maybe it's because I swallow a bunch of air while I'm yawning. I'm constantly yawning. So if I could throw up, maybe some of that would come out. And it would, you'd burp, and then I'd go lay down and take a nap, and then at 45 minutes later, it was gone.
Wow.
But see, now my migraines don't go away. I don't have as many, but they're longer.
Yeah, they just last longer.
And Felicia's are longer and still the same. So, and we've tried everything with her, magnesium and everything. Mine, it seems like the older I've gotten, I can almost tell when I'm going to get one, and I can intercept it. With Felicia, I think she waits, and that's what I used to do, because the medicine, you don't want to waste your medicine on a stress headache. So you've got this medicine you paid for, but you only get this much. You only get 10 pills.
Yeah.
And you're going to end up taking 2 of those pills to try to live with this headache. But you don't want to take those pills if this isn't really a migraine. So what happens is you start getting it and you think, okay, it's just stress, it'll go away. And then all of a sudden you haven't taken the pill that could have got rid of it. And you just past that point. Now you've got to take 2 or 3, because now it won't go away.
Yeah.
But you don't want to waste those pills. And so I think she goes over the dook, trying to stave it off.
Yeah.
But then it gets too much.
She might not. I mean, we don't know what she does.
Yeah.
So what's a good memory you have of her?
Well, like I said, it's just ongoing. So it's just the admiration for her determination and perseverance through just everything that she deals with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
I'm just extremely proud of that. She keeps going, and she's talented. She does her own carpentry in her house, and she just, and she has such a good outlook. Even she's got a great outlook. I mean, I love listening to her, because she makes me laugh so hard I want to pee my pants. She's funny as heck.
Yeah, she's funny.
And then with you,
now we gotta go to me now. What?
so my
Malia's like, yeah.
my
Why?
like I said, he's got a tragedy too, where he was at a daycare and he was playing on a utility trailer, and the tongue caught him, pinned him down, and sliced his head open.
Well, it's because I played on it.
Well, that's because you were little, and that's what little kids do.
It's because I was showing off. You know that story, right? You know what I did.
No.
I know what I did. I was trying to show off for the girl that was at the babysitter.
You're like a 3-year-old kid trying to show off.
I was 4.
Whatever.
I was 4. The girl that Felicia, I don't even remember her name, but Felicia used to play with her. I liked her. I tried to show off. I got underneath that trailer, and I was like, I'm Superman. And I jumped up on it. So the tongue was up in the air, for people listening. Tongue of a trailer was up in the air. I got under it. I was 4 years old, and I jumped on that tongue. And when I did, it came down on me, and it just slammed me on the ground. And I remember going down and hitting my head. I don't remember the pain, which is kind of amazing. You'd think you would remember the pain of that, but I remember hitting my head and then blackness, and then I remember what was our babysitter's name?
Rita.
I remember Rita's husband coming out saying, "Oh my God, oh my God," and like grabbing the tongue. I remember seeing him like looking at me, grabbing the tongue. And then the next memory I have is waking up in the car on Rita's lap, seeing her shirt red, but it was a white shirt because I could see white where the sleeves were, but red here. And she was crying, and I remember him saying, I'm trying, something like that, trying to get to the hospital. And then I remember waking up and hearing the doctor say, "He's awake, hold him down." And I was freaking out, and I remember freaking out, and they're like, hold him down. And someone jumped over my body and jumped over my legs, pinning me down because they were trying to put stitches in my head. And I was crying because I didn't know where I was at. And it was, that is like one of the most, I think it's almost like having a night terror, waking up to that. And I remember crying, and then I think I passed out again.
Probably.
And then the next memory I have is of Daddy Robert waking me up, feeding me Jell-O at the house, telling me, "Hey, you're up." You know, it was like that's a good memory of Dad.
Well, this was pretty tragic because I think people don't believe in God, but I do, and these are the 3 reasons that I do. Some of them. But that tongue of that trailer, people don't realize it, or some do maybe. There's 3 different layers of flesh here in your temples. There's the outer skin, and then there's a fatty area, and then there's a membrane that covers your skull. And that tongue of that trailer caught both of your temples right to that membrane of the skull. It didn't crush the skull, didn't crack the skull. It stopped. It fit perfectly right there.
I got a hard head.
It just stopped. It
didn't
brag
about it.
But they said they couldn't give you anything. I was not allowed to go in there. I was sitting out there, and I could hear you screaming. And they couldn't give you anything. You needed to be awake while they stitched you because they didn't want you to pass out.
Oh, I did. I'm pretty sure I did because, like 4 years old and waking up to a bunch of doctors holding you down.
Well, the way they stitched you.
Which one are you going to stick a thumb in my butt? I don't want it.
The way they stitched you, they stitched the membrane, and then they stitched the fatty, and then they stitched the outer skin. They didn't just do one big stitch. You had lots of dissolving stitches in there.
I'm sure I did.
But we take this child home, and the next day he's got a towel wrapped around his neck, and he's jumping from my love seat to my couch playing Superman like nothing ever happened.
Boy's got to do what boys got to do.
I mean, it just like
holding me down.
Yeah, it was like it never happened.
I can't believe that.
You were,
it can't be.
No,
the next
you
day.
did.
It had to been.
It was like the next day,
later.
dude. It was like the next day, and I'm thinking you were gonna bleed. I was
still rebuilding my blood.
Mm-mm.
I lost like 20 liters of blood.
That head wounds are the stinkiest. They stink so bad. That smelled really bad.
How long did I have to wear bandages?
Probably like a couple days, just to make sure it didn't get dirty, because it was stitched. Yeah, they did good job stitching. You had like 100 and some stitches on one side.
Here's a good memory I have, Mom, is because I was always self-conscious, and you know this. I was always self-conscious of the scars on my head, and I remember it was first grade or kindergarten, and I was telling you how, maybe it was in second grade, how people were calling me Frankenstein, and you tried to like help me cover it up with makeup, and it was like I remember being in that bathroom with you, and you were trying your hardest to put makeup on there to where it looked good or not good, good enough, and to tell me that it was fine, and don't let people make fun of me. It was just like that's a good memory. It shows how big a heart you had. You were trying your best to make me feel better.
I should have just took a knife and just scarred you all up, and then they wouldn't have known what the hell.
Scarface.
They wouldn't have been able to pick
up.
on just a couple. Shit,
Well, I've forgotten about them now. I mean, when people ask me what happened, I'm like, "What happened to what?" No, what happened to your head? And I'm like, well, something on my head? Oh, my scars. And then I say I got in a bar fight. And
it's funny because you say that, but I don't know if you can see this by my fake eyebrows, but I have a line going up my head right here.
I got one too.
Looks like a scar, but you know what that is? It's not a scar. It's from sleeping.
Yeah, I got one too.
And so if you sleep like this and your fat rolls over, it makes a permanent line forever, dude.
I inherited that.
It's like a divot.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Me too.
Yeah.
So now that I'm aware of it, I try. Malia's over there just dying.
Don't worry. Give her 20 years. She'll have that motherfucker.
Yeah, try not to sleep in the same. I sleep like that I'm like a Shar-Pei. You just
It's because when you sleep, your face relaxes and it's just...
Well, the fat, it folds over.
It's like fucking butter.
And so it's made this line that literally feels like I got cut in my forehead.
I started noticing that like 2 years ago.
Well, I noticed mine and I'm like, what is that? Did I ever get hit in the face? I did with the baseball bat, but not there. And then it dawned on me what it was. No, we won't. But anyway, so where Michael's concerned, that's my tragedy with Michael, or my blessing that I still have my son. But like I said, it's ongoing, proud and good memories and good thoughts. And, Michael had like he said, people made fun of him for that. And I think he had a lot of being my only boy and not a lot of boys around. So he was with my nagging daughters. And, and I didn't know how to raise a boy. So I think that Michael has done an awesome job for being around a bunch of females. And he's become somebody that I'm super proud of. Super proud. Even though I thought this boy ain't going to amount to shit.
That's what I thought.
You buy him a little toy recorder and you go in the bedroom and you're trying to vacuum his carpet and there's and you look and there's this tape thing that he's torn to shit and there's screws everywhere and it's like, why did you do this? Oh, I'm going to put it back together. And I'm thinking, why do you tear shit apart?
I was curious.
And
I
then
think that was it too. I still have that fucking urge to fucking figure out how shit works. It's like, I gotta figure out how stuff works.
And then, he joins the military and he goes and he builds this Frankenstein computer. And now what does he do for a living? I mean, he works for our city and he installs computers to different areas and important.
Not much. I don't do that anymore.
Oh, not anymore?
No, I'm more management. I tell
people
what
he
to do
was.
And I figure out. I look at a lot of contracts. That's my daily dose of stuff. It's like I gotta make sure.
So when you have a police car or a fire truck that has their computer in it, were you allowed to? You worked on those?
Yeah.
We'll see. There you go. So even though you don't do that anymore, what you did was pretty important to people that need it.
I think now that.
Do you have your Apple anywhere?
Oh, it's at work. My Apple Award. Yeah. It's great. I mean, I try not to let stuff get to my head. I think I did a good job. I think I did the best I could do at work, and now I have people under me that are doing an equally good job. They do the best they can do, especially at a time like this right now. I mean, I'm so proud of my team. It's great to see, especially because we have two new people, one new and one still within 2 years.
Yeah.
But still, the pressure that they've been under and the amount of stuff they've done under that pressure, it's and for them to be so young. Like, we have 2 that are over 30, and then the rest of them are under 20 or under 30. And I think they've done a really good job.
Yeah.
And when this ends, I'm gonna do something for them. Hopefully.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. I'll help you plan something.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking just buy them a drink. But yeah,
Did that answer your question, though, Malia?
I think it did.
I'm just pretty proud of the way their lives have turned out as adults. I mean, I can't say that well, I can say one thing now. I was going to say the marathon thing again. Felicia did run a 13, 14-mile marathon with my sister-in-law and my granddaughter, Juliana. And you know what? They've never done that before. They didn't really practice.
You asked me to do that, and I was
they
like,
did
hell no.
Freaking awesome in my brother Richard's memory. So that was last year. We didn't do it this year. Of course, we got pandemic going on. But, I think they would have done it this year, too, if they would have allowed us to do it, or them to do it.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yes, I asked you to do it, and I think Mia wanted to do it this year.
I think Mia probably could do it.
That's about $180, though, or
way
something
overweight
like that.
and not in shape for that. I got a question for you, though.
Sure.
Kind of something I was thinking about was, so because we were talking about how hard you worked and stuff when you were in your 30s,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew to myself, it's like, man, I don't think I could do that. What motivated you? I mean, probably your kids and stuff, but what kept you motivated and not to give up?
I used to tell the inmates that if I didn't have children, that I probably would have been where they are. You got to figure out, and I'm not the smartest person in the world, or I would have been a billionaire, I guess. But I don't know if it's the time period of, where I grew up, or there were certain things that you did and certain things you didn't. And one was you respected your parents, and if you went behind their back and did something, you better hope and pray they didn't find out.
Yeah.
Because they weren't going to just sit there and put you in timeout. They'd probably kick your ass out or beat your ass with a belt, which you know. So it's like you don't want to piss your parents off, for one, unless you want to be on your own. So you had that. If you did something wrong, you better hope to God that they never found out about it.
Yeah.
And so with me, I think at an early age, I had a boyfriend once that told me, "Oh, you just don't do that because you don't want to." What was it? The only reason you don't do it is because you don't want to get caught, not because you don't want to do it. And I go, "No." Well, I kind of think that that's probably stemmed from my youth. My dad was extremely mean, and he wasn't very affectionate. But I'll tell you what, I never ever wanted my dad to hear that I had broke the law, or I have some family members that are not the greatest people. There's a lot of drugs involved. There were prostitution. There were thefts, sex offenses, and
I apologize.
that's all right. But
It wasn't me.
yeah, but I'm talking my dad's family or my mom's or whoever's that kind of family, not me and my kids.
Yeah.
And I never wanted my dad to find out that I went to jail like a cousin, or I prostituted like a cousin, or because he had opinions about what they were doing.
Yeah.
And he shared those with me. And I thought, my dad will never hear that I've ever done that. And he used to tell me how proud he was of me working at the jail. And I'm thinking, it's just a job. It's how I pay the rent for my kids. It's how I take care of my kids. But it's like nowadays the kids aren't, I don't know if it's not, they're not scared that their parents are going to find out, or they don't think that their parents care if they do. I don't know what the difference is.
I think a big part of that is people don't have the integrity and they don't care about the integrity that you carry in yourself when you do those good things, or when you strive to be better yourself.
Well, you asked the motivation. Well, the motivation was, don't be like the family.
Yeah.
Make your mom and dad proud if you can. How am I going to do that? And with me, TV played a big part of that. But the TV shows that we watched were like family, the structure, the mom and the dad and the two boys, or the mom and the dad and the boy and the sister. They were the perfect family. And in my mind, that's the perfect family. My family might not have been perfect, but I figured, you know what? I'm going to strive to be the perfect family, even if my dad does have a drinking problem or my mom's real submissive to my dad or whatever. I'm going to make the difference. I'm going to break the mold. I'm going to break the mold.
So let me ask you this. Sorry to interrupt, but do you think that might have caused other issues in your life because you were trying to strive for that perfection that you nobody really can. It's a TV show. You can't strive. You could strive for it, but most people can't achieve what is shown on TV because it's made up. It's fictional. So do you think that caused other issues in your life?
I don't think that I really wanted to go 100% like the TV show. Yeah. I think it just kind of gave me an idea that life could be nicer.
I got you.
And you, like I said, when I told the inmates, if I didn't have my kids, when you asked me, did I think it was a good idea for me to have my Tiba at 16? And I said, for me, yeah. I look at her. She's going to be 18.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell that could have a baby 2 years ago.
But
there's no way because I don't know, and it's not her fault.
No. But
it's a different time.
What I think though is that kids, what I call is a forced responsibility. It's a forced responsibility on you as a parent. Now, I think Mia was good for me because it was forced responsibility. Now I have to live my life to take care of this person. My life is no longer mine, is this person's also.
Some people don't give a shit, though.
That's right. Some people don't give a shit, and it doesn't change them. But for the ones that it does, I think it's better for them. Even though I could have waited, I could have been better. You could have waited. It could have been a better timing.
Yeah.
I think the universe was like, no, motherfucker, you need this because you're going down this path to where you're either going to be in jail or you're going to be dead. And if your life is no longer yours, you're going to think about it differently. And that's what happened to me. You know, it was like, okay, now I have to start thinking about what's going to happen if I can't make this money to take care of
Sometimes
her.
I think we just have to put somebody else's
needs above ours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think.
You know, it's like when you're alone. It's like, oh, I'll get drunk tonight. Who cares? You're thinking of yourself. And there are people that still do that. When you have your children, you totally disappear.
Yeah.
At least in my case.
Well,
you disappear. So you do things so that you can take care of these people. And you hope and pray that they have more than you did.
Yeah. That's your new goal for life, is to make sure that the person that you've given life to now has a better life than you had. And that's why.
So do you guys? No.
I think so.
I don't think so.
No. Well, I mean,
it just depends on what's your definition of a good life.
I mean, I struggled for a while, right? For a long time, just like maybe not as bad as you, but I struggled, and then I think I kept going and going until now where we're at. We still have our times where we struggle, but it's nowhere near the way it was. But I think I think it's better than it was for me when under you, even though you were still trying to make a better life for us. I'm not saying I did better than you. I'm just saying I think I've done good for them to where they don't have to struggle as much as I did when under you.
And I think a lot of that is not just a financial struggle. I think it also has to do with the things in your brain that you think are pretty important.
Yeah.
But if you get to the point where I'm at, where you remember that we're all going to go out of here. So you better figure out what's important while your ass is here. When I was young, it's like, oh, I ain't going. I ain't dying. So nothing's important. The things you think about change.
It does. You're more cautious with shit.
Well, yeah. It's like, you know what? It's not.
It's the life experience. You've seen too much to know. I've seen too much at my age now, and I'm sure I'm going to figure it more out by the time I'm your age, but to know how to react to certain situations. Like, okay, I could react this way, but if I do, I know this is going to happen. So I'm going to react this way because it's either going to be better or it's not going to be as bad.
Yeah, it's just, when you did the podcast with Malia, and Malia said, "Have you ever set a fire?" And then she said, "Well, what if the house burns down? We need to get an extinguisher." And you said, "Well, the house has got insurance. Just take family heirlooms. Save my PlayStation," you said. And I'm thinking, I thought that, and I thought, you know what? I'm sitting here in this house of my own, and I'm thinking, what's to stop me from just telling my grandson, "Hey, I'll see you later. I'll be back," and then taking some clothes, some toothpaste, some shampoo, a couple thick shirts, and a sleeping bag or whatever.
You want to pull the disappearing father trick?
get in my
I'll be
car.
back. I'm gonna go get some milk.
Get in my car and just go and never come back. What is stopping me?
What is
from
stopping
doing
you? Because you are retired now. Sorry, I'm making a racket here.
I think
you're
it's
retired,
it's
and you keep
putting it off and putting it off and putting it off.
Putting it off, but you're a big. I think right now in your later days of your life, Mom, you've become more of a person that likes to help others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying you.
I've
never,
always been that way. I just
like,
never had the time to do it.
Exactly, but I think now that you do have the time to do it, it's become your focus. In my mind, I'm thinking, man, if I was her, I would be focusing on me and what I need to do to enjoy these last parts of my life.
Okay, well, this is the thing, and I need you to focus on this while you're still kind of young. Remember when you just said, I needed. There's times that when I had Mia, I needed that.
Yeah.
When I said, if I didn't have my kids, I would be in jail. Or something worse, maybe.
Yeah.
What happened was at those times, my focus went to my kids, to where I didn't know what I liked, or I didn't anything that I ventured to do, my kids were included. My kids were, if I went somewhere, my kids were allowed to go.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I have a babysitter. Couldn't afford one anyway. And so they became the focus. So what's happened was, then I had the kids, and then I had a job to take care of those kids. And that job took care of people. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
true.
Yeah.
Bad people, but
not bad people. They just are unfortunate. They're unfortunate. They don't make good decisions. How's that? And whatever reason, they impulsive, or they learned behavior, whatever. Great people, just bad choices.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that because I have a question for that, but go ahead.
Okay.
Keep going.
But anyway, so taking care of those people 30 years, and then after that, taking care of Mom, and then Mom's gone. So the reason you're saying I'd be out of here, you take care of people. The thing, I question it too, because there's times that I sit there and I think, why am I still sitting here? And why do I have a hard time getting rid of all this crap that I've acquired? Not PlayStations or anything. My crap is just food. And so I cook for like the neighbors, dude. I make stuff and I go, here, I said I made too much. Well, honest to God, I didn't make too much. I made this for you.
You're just doing it.
I'm just doing it because if I don't feed them, I'm going to eat it. And I don't need to eat anymore.
Yeah.
But I have this habitual, and I don't know if it comes from being poor when I was little. If I see food, I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to have enough. And then it got to where my Tiba was struggling. She'd come by and say, Mom, do you have any noodles? Or do you have any of this? So I always had to make sure I had that. And then I was supplementing my mom's groceries. And then I had to make special food for my brother. So I had to have all these groceries. So I become a grocery hoarder. I'm serious. I got so much food. I don't even know. I cook and cook and cook and cook and cook,
But
and then I go buy more.
but do you feel because so many people rely on you that now that it's become a habit?
Probably. Probably.
That's how I feel, and that's why I feel like you can't enjoy your retirement years because it's such a habit now that
Well,
you.
the
You
thing
have
is,
to
I
take
don't know
care of
what Ruby
people.
wants to do. I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No,
yeah, you do.
no,
Don't even
honest-
say that.
no,
because
seriously.
You want your van. You want your
Yeah, but that's.
and you want to travel, and you know what
So-
you want to do. You just don't do it.
Yeah, but the problem is every time I traveled, it was with grandkids.
Yeah, but now, but
And
you,
now it's.
you have
I
an
would
idea
plan
of
those
what you
things like,
want.
oh, I can't wait to go to Vegas with the grandkids. I can't wait to take so and so to Vegas. I can't wait to take so and so here. And now it's like there's nobody to take.
Take
It's
Ruby.
just me.
Exactly. Go
And
fucking
I
explore the Grand
well,
Canyon.
I know this, but it's like, you know what? So what's the purpose here? Because usually when you have an experience, you want to share that experience with someone to talk about it and reminisce and
Post that shit on Instagram.
I know. I know.
Do like the young kids do.
But right now you kind of know why I'm still here. It's not just all the stuff. Even though I do have an attachment to stuff, I want to make sure that when I do leave, I can afford to leave. So I have some bills that I need to pay off.
Yeah, we don't have to get into that, but I understand. I think though that I just don't want you to not do what you want to do before it's too late.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
I'm
I
not
think
trying to
about
say
that.
you're gonna die sooner or anything like that. I think I want. I guess I'm living my expectations for myself when I retire through you, because I honestly have a fear that I'm not going to make it to retirement, just because of it. You know, like Richard.
Just things, yeah.
Richard dying young, Tina dying young.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah.
Did my dad live the longest out of?
Everybody you know.
Yeah,
No.
out of his brothers.
No.
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm gonna make it to an age where I can enjoy retirement, and so I don't.
I think
want
you
that to
will,
happen
but
to
I think
you.
it won't last long.
Sure.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm not
probably
saying
not.
that to be mean. I think that you
Excuse me.
you will make it, but you know, I have a friend at work or coworker, I guess, but he would say right when I was getting ready to go, he's like, first he'd bully me and say, I don't know why you just don't quit. Just quit. You know, you're getting up there. He'd tell me this all the time. And then when it was seriously getting to that point, he says, oh, Robles, you know, don't do it. Don't do it. He goes, what'd he say? Something about a nail in my coffin or... In other words, when you die, and when you retire, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And I go, shut
The
up.
last nail in the coffin.
1 minute you want me out the hell out of here, and then the next one, don't do it. What the hell?
I think it was just his fear of probably having to be there without you.
No, him and I kind of butted heads a little bit.
Yeah, he probably still.
He was
respected
good
you.
looking though, but an asshole. But
They usually are.
you know,
Good looking
he
assholes.
just had a attitude, you know. But it was okay. So it's like I think you will be okay, but.
So we'll go back to the original question. What kind of motivates you? And you think that your kids and maybe just in general.
What motivated me to just keep going
Yeah.
was you guys.
Okay.
And it really was because you guys were important. You were more important to me than me.
That's how I feel about these guys.
Yeah.
And
You
I
just
think
you
a
were
lot
more
of good
important to me than
parents
yeah.
feel that way. There's
Yeah.
way better parents than me or you.
And the
that I've
sad part
seen.
about this though is that and I explain this to inmates too. When you get to a certain age with your kids
You just
and
wanna
your kids
beat 'em.
get that motivation or that importance transfers
to them.
to them. They're more important than you and Tiba and Felicia. To me.
Oh, you mean as a grandparent?
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
It's like
I could see
and the
that.
inmates would be like, what? I go, just wait till you're a grandparent. And they're like, why? And I said, this is the way I figure it. Because I'd go in and do a walkthrough of their units, and then I'd kind of lean on the table and bullshit with them just to be in there with them. And I'd say, this is the best. When you have grandkids, this is the only way I can determine how it changes. When you have kids and you're going through the struggles of raising your children, and they lie to you and they climb out the window and they're smoking pot and they're fucking drinking and they're whatever. Every time you hear something like that, you get cut in your heart. You cut. Your kids are cutting you. And you're bleeding. Your heart's bleeding. Well, then your heart scars. And then they go and do something else and they cut you and cut you and cut. These are your kids. So what happens is when they finally get done cutting you, you got all the scar tissue. And then they present you with these little angels that have never cut you. Anything. And they're like candy. And you love them much more than these assholes that cut you. And the inmates would just laugh. And I go, grandkids are the best.
They're like new candy you never
tasted
before. They are just
new, fresh.
That's funny.
Candy.
I agree with that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will not.
They're just like fresh snow.
I think that's why a lot of grandparents spoil their grandkids. Might have had too much whiskey.
I think so. He's like, push it away.
I only drink during this podcast lately.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like whiskey. I was what? Does my son drink that much? Well, when your liver hurts for no stupid reason, you're going to wish that you didn't.
Honestly, I haven't drank since the last podcast, which was Mia's, which was last Saturday, I think.
So anyway, so that was my motivation. My children are ongoing.
As I take a drink.
Good times. I mean, in those good times, those special events or special situations with my kids, from time to time I still have them, you know, like my oldest daughter. I mean, she's finally woke. And I finally,
are you using terms from this era?
My Joey woke.
It keeps you up to date.
Yeah.
So here's my question for you, Mom, going back to because you worked at the jail. Who is the most, so someone that you looked at in jail that you saw just pure evil, like Ted Bundy evil? Like you looked at him, you're like, yeah, there's no fucking helping this mother. Have
I ever seen an inmate like that?
Yeah.
Like a Ted Bundy guy?
Yeah, like a serial. Because I know you had that serial killer there that was really smart, but did he have that look like there's no helping him? He's just pure evil. Have you ever seen a person like that?
I've seen some, but it's not. How would you say? I've seen some that you look at them and think, God, this person is just. You're leery of them because you can sense that evil.
Yeah.
But it's not because they're conniving evil. It's not a conniving evil. It's a mental health evil.
Like, but what I'm saying is, have you ever looked at somebody and just seen nothing in their eyes? Like, this motherfucker would kill me for no reason.
Yep. Yeah, I have.
That's what I'm wondering. And
I have.
It's scary in a way.
I have, but I would say right now I know one, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I know one.
Was it a serial killer?
Was it a serial killer?
Yeah.
No, but he is a killer.
He's a killer? Mm-hmm. Just had a 1,000-yard stare. Kill you in an instant.
The stare wasn't constant. The stare... Let's put it this way. I would get the stare if I said no.
Yeah. Like if you didn't do something he liked.
If I would have... Let's put it this way. If I would have said no. But this person knew not to cross the line to ask anyway.
They're usually pretty smart, right?
Yes, they're very smart. So that person was like, oh, no, let's do this. Let's cuff you up, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, I wouldn't hurt you. And I said, Oh, yeah, right. He's like, I wouldn't hurt you. And I go, bullshit. If I told you no, you would. And I'd never heard another word out of that person.
Who was the serial killer that you had in jail that would memorize, that you guys had a blindfold and whatever in the fuck?
That would be Mr. Bray.
Bray. And what was he?
Woman killer.
Did he have like a Green Mover Killer tag name or anything like that?
Cowboy Mike.
Cowboy Mike. And he was the one that would memorize
all kinds of stuff.
like the
Smart.
key shape and shit to fucking escape. Do you feel like talking about this? Are you uncomfortable with this? You're retired.
The only reason I'm uncomfortable with it is because because it's kind of, that's, you can look him up on the computer and you'd find that information.
Malia, go ahead and pull him up. I want to see what this guy looks like because I don't think I've ever looked at him.
B-R-A-E.
What did you say, Cowboy Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, Cowboy Mike.
No, he
How long was he in our jail? It was long enough for you to have stories about him, yeah. Because I remember you telling me
that he
was
always bullshitting people.
Yeah.
Smooth talker.
And you could tell he was smart, and he was always trying to get information from you.
If he'd talk to you, he'd be talking to you, bent down talking to you at the feeding hatch, and his eyes would be darting all over looking
Is
at,
this him?
Yes.
Maximize that, Malia.
That's Michael.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not very good picture of him.
Can you click on him? Oh.
Well, there's other pictures if you
And was he a serial killer here?
So he has a
Watch out! Make sure there's no porn on there before you display that on the screen.
He had arrest pictures where he had jumped in a river, escaping like police.
But he was caught here. But did he kill people here?
No.
It was mostly in
he shot a girl here, left her on the side of the road on the way to.
Oh man!
But
do you know what happened to him?
Do I know what happened to him?
Yeah.
He got extradited. He's in Idaho, I believe.
Find out what his sentence is. See if you can find out if he's like sentenced to like.
You're pretty curious. Your wife watching murder.
No.
Murder stories is kind of
because
rubbing off on you.
Probably. What I think is, people like that need to die. Just get rid of them. That's my opinion of them.
In other words, just instead of living in the system.
Yeah. Just get rid of them.
Well, there's a lot of people that
let's clean the gene pool.
So he has a history of, as a young person,
47 years in prison.
Yeah, he's
why give him that time? That's my thought. Just fucking get rid of him.
I don't know. Probably to give him the opportunity
Accidental
to appeal
toaster
that
in the bathtub. Fucking accidentally let another prisoner
but
in there to have fun with him.
He was one that didn't like to be told no.
Well, I bet a lot of them don't.
He would throw like a little hissy fit and cuss and scream and then go slam his door and lock down. But or he would get very be all friendly and talkative, and then he would get real solemn and
what. If you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, I want your opinion on what do you. I know we've talked a little bit about it, but what do you feel about the escape that happened recently? Do you feel that could have been prevented in any way?
The escape that happened, yeah.
You're like, yeah, that's all I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they caught all of them.
Well, the thing is I don't have.
I know
this,
you don't have.
No, this is the deal. I can talk about what I know because I don't work there, so nothing that I talk about has been got from there. I'm not sharing information from there. I'm giving information as a personal observing person that has some knowledge about past dealings with inmates. Okay? So, in my opinion, that most of those people that escaped from that section of the jail should not have been housed in that section of the jail.
Oh. Is that the lower, like... like the more trusty.
From what I remember of that section of the jail.
Yeah.
When that section of the jail was built, it was for misdemeanors. Say Michael here goes out with his work buddies at night, he drives and he's drunk. Bad judgment. Drunk driving.
It's kind of like the low risk people.
Yeah, so he's still has a job, but that's where he should be. Say you have a farm worker that's illegal, has no past history of criminal activity. Farm worker has a family, but he's here illegal. How's him in there? Okay? People that don't have a violent history of robbery with a weapon, people that don't have escape histories, people that in possession of a firearm. If you're a marshal prisoner that has, you can be a federal prisoner for stealing mail out of the mailbox. Identity theft. It's federal.
Yeah.
You can also be a federal prisoner for being a felon carrying a firearm. So why is the felon that used to sell drugs running around with a gun in his waistband? Tells me he's not a nice person. Don't put his ass over there. So what's happened is when we had such a high population, you want to afford these people that are on good behavior for this long. You've been here for almost a year, which they shouldn't even be here for a year. They should be shipped off to prison.
Yeah.
But you've been here this long, no problems from us. Yeah, we'll allow you to go. That was part of the reason that these kind of people infiltrated into that minimum security section, because we were running out of room in the
main area.
Mm-hmm. And then we didn't have enough people to actually sit down and actually, you have more inmates than you have the ability to really scrutinize the classification.
I gotcha.
This is time. It's time. What do you call it? It's real heavy on time. It's a task that takes a lot of time if you want to do it right. You want to keep that section clean without bad hard asses in there. And so it just kind of overwhelms after a while. Next thing you know, you're moving this guy over here because there's room and he hasn't given you trouble for 6 months and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he can go over there.
Do you think the jail's overpopulated?
Right now it's not.
I mean, let's say back when you worked there, do you think it was?
Yes, at times.
Because of all the contracts?
At times,
and
yeah.
Stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think we try to get too much money out of it.
Yeah. Well, they were trying, the ideas were good. They were trying to become self-sufficient, so they didn't have to rely so much on county money.
Yeah.
And that was one of our directors that a lot of people didn't care for, where he started the bed. I think he started the bed thing, the bed sale, but he didn't go overboard with it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, the place out there where 911 is, well, that used to be the RC.
Yeah.
So they had those inmates out there with a garden growing a lot of their own food. He was trying to be to where we didn't depend on county money too much. They had sewing machines. They had women making blankets for, sewing uniforms.
That's smart.
Making like jean uniform pants for trustees or whatever. So his ideas were pretty good, and we were moving right along there. And then he left, and then we got another person that was halfway decent that didn't try to build on that. He just kind of remained as is. So I think that's why it kind of was okay.
Yeah.
It just kind of maintained, sustained. And then we got the one we have now, and he's like, oh, I'll get more and more and more and more. and he's trying to build on something that wasn't his idea.
He just flooded it.
And I think that it's too much.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's my own opinion. And it always has been. But I'm nobody anyway.
Well, you're someone that was in the system. We'll switch to a different subject. I want to know mother.
Is our hour up yet?
No, well, it could be longer than an hour. We're fine with that. There's no time limit on it. Tell me about before you had kids. Tell me your life before you had kids.
I didn't have a life before I had kids.
Well, you had a life. Just what are your memories? What are your good memories? What are your bad memories? Just anything to share. Because your grandkids are going to watch this. Your children are going to watch
the
this.
problem is that
Great grandkids are going to watch this.
There's going to be questions that they want to know, but it's going to be after I'm gone. There's so many questions I wish I would have asked my mother about her family. And, like, there's people's names that come up. And I'm thinking, who is that? Was that my mom's cousin? I can't remember. I wish she was here so I could say, Mama, who was that? Because it'll pop up and I go, oh, I know that name. And that person used to come to our house. Now, who was it? And she's not here for me to figure out who it was. I want it before I lose train of thought. Though, you asked me if I was uncomfortable talking about Cowboy Mike.
Yeah.
The only thing that bothered me a little bit is that it's funny that you brought him up tonight because yesterday I was thinking about him and I don't know what that means.
Maybe.
Thinking a lot.
Was he trying to call you?
No, it was like I don't know. I just had this uneasy feeling, and then you brought him up.
I don't know.
So that's why I was like, "What the hell?"
I just knew that was
yesterday,
one of the only serial killers that we've had in the jail, and I knew that you had monitored him.
Well, it's funny. It's just a coincidence because I thought I was thinking about, how much time did he get? And then I was kind of rehashing dealings that I'd had with him.
Yeah.
And comments that he had made to others, and
so yeah. I do have a question about somebody in our past, and I don't know if you remember his name because I was telling Malia about him a couple of days ago. I think it was Malia, maybe it was Mia. There was a kid that lived across the alley from Grandma when she lived on near Natchez Ave.
Across the alley, a kid.
Yeah.
You're talking about David Anderson?
Yep, there you go. Knew it. I knew you knew it because I knew his first name.
Are you talking
David.
about the movie Taken?
So do you remember?
Liam Neeson?
So do you remember when I got arrested for trying to break into the Ike thing?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you picked me up. You remember that?
Breaking into the Ike thing? Well, let's see. I got arrested for being the first person in history to violate the new curfew law.
Yeah, that was it. That was the same.
That has nothing to do with breaking into anything.
Well, I was trying to do something. Okay, I broke the curfew law. Do you remember when I got arrested for that?
Yeah, they lost a shoe.
And David was there, and he was being a fucking punk ass to me. Mm-hmm. David Anderson.
And David Anderson, you'll probably see this podcast. I'm sure you will.
Is he a friend of yours?
No, but he probably is a friend of a friend of a friend of mine.
If he is, he was being a punk ass bitch to me.
Probably.
And I don't care if he sees this because he was. He was like a fucking, he was trying to be a cop. Mm-hmm. And he was talking some fucking mad shit to me when I was fucking sitting there in handcuffs. I'm like, all right, motherfucker. Anyway, I was bringing that up to Malik. Sorry, Malik. I'm not trying to act like I'm a badass, but he was talking some mad shit, and it pissed me off. But I couldn't remember his name. I thought his name was David, but I couldn't remember for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm glad you remember that.
He's an old man now.
How old was he? How much older was he than me? Because at that time
He was probably 6 years older than you, maybe.
Yeah, because I was like 17, I think.
He's on
16.
Facebook.
I'm not gonna be his friend.
Looks the same. Shit.
I'm not gonna be his friend. I'm not gonna friend Chris, this motherfucker. Anyway, I was just wondering if you remembered his name because I remember me and Marcelo used to throw ninja stars at their garage door when Grandma lived there. Because we were at those ninja stars, we were throwing them in his garage, and he started joining in with us. He was throwing them.
Really?
His mom came out, got mad at us, and he blamed us. This is how much of a punk muff. I'm trying to limit the amount of cuss words I say, but he was like, "Oh yeah, mom," he blamed it on us, and I was like, "This guy joined us. He was throwing him at his garage door too." So,
Well, his dad was a cop in Sea-Lab.
oh.
Gary Goodwill probably knew him.
Sorry, Gary.
I love Gary.
Yeah, Gary's my friend.
So sweet.
I love Gary. He's a good guy.
Don't you love Gary? I love Gary.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah,
I think most of the people I've met throughout my years that we both know have been good people. I think we have a good judge of character. I think sometimes you're a little bit more paranoid than I am because of the things you've seen.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the people that we've met throughout our lives are really good and are stand-up people. Like, would back us up in an instant if we needed them to.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
I just think, I had a lot of people when I left that jail that didn't want me to go. And I'm not just like tooting my own horn or
Well, I think a lot of people loved you.
I
Mom,
think that
because of who you are.
I never ever put across to them that, and I've told them. They'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Robles." And I go, "You know what? Don't be sorry. Just don't do it again." I go, "You know what? I'm no better than you are. I just have a job to do."
See, and I think I get that from you. I think I get a lot of that from you because I hate trying to not promote myself, but like I hate saying anything good about myself.
Yeah, it's hard to say anything good about yourself because it's like what is it like? It's almost like I don't like to draw attention to myself.
Yeah.
And I don't like
I don't like feeling like I'm gloating. I hate that because I've seen people that gloat like I'm the fucking best ever.
Yeah.
And when I see that, I'm like, I'm fucking disgusted by it.
Well, they kind of like put up a wall when they do that. I put up a wall when I see somebody like that.
I just hate.
I don't want to be around it.
Yeah, I don't want to be around it either.
Yeah.
And I try to. It's like, all right, man, have some. What's
humility?
That word? Yeah, humility. Have some humility on yourself because I'm gonna respect you more if you do. Sorry. Than if you are just straight up like I'm the best in the world.
Yeah.
Because I think when you're too cocky, there's weakness there, and that weakness is.
Well, it's like you try to build yourself up because you have some inadequacies anyway.
Yeah.
It's like you're overbuilding.
Exactly.
Just be you, and the inmates. I would just always, I kind of would study them, and then. I kind of honestly, this sounds bad, but it's like, I said, "You're my pets. You're my little pets.
You're my scientific
You're my
experiment."
pets, and it's like, but I would tell them, I'm not here to judge you. This is what I tell them. You're somebody's father, son, sister, brother, whatever. You're not mine, but you're somebody's. My job is to make sure that you're here, make sure that you go to court, make sure that you're safe while you're here, and then you go home. That's it. I'm not here to pick on you. I have told a couple people, I don't like you. Get away from me. I have told
I think
like
sometimes
3
you
people.
gotta do that shit.
Well, yeah. And one of them escaped. One of them was the escapee.
See,
and I said, get away from me.
I think that's what gives you respect to those people. Because of the way you are, the way you express stuff to them. Right? I think that's why when people, and I don't know why people look up to me, but I've had some people look up to me, and that's my self-depreciation. But I think because I don't take myself at this level that people see me at sometimes. They see me a little higher than I feel that I am.
Yes.
I feel like I'm striving to make myself better. And until I feel like I'm at that point,
just be
don't
what
look
you
up
feel.
To me. Yeah. And I am who I am, and I express myself the way.
And they
that
always
I
feel
am.
that about you before they talk to you.
Probably.
They're like, "Oh, he's scary," or "He's the boss," or "He's."
Well, the girls feel
It's
that
kind
way
of
for
like
some
when you.
reason.
It's kind of like when you have a tattooed person, and you know how they do the little Facebook commercials about bikers with the tats and the vests and the.
Yeah, and it's always that bald guy with a beard.
And you see the bikes come in, and people are like,
You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're cringing, and these bikers are the nicest people that you ever want to meet.
I got a story about bikers. I'll tell you in a minute.
That's that's kind of what you're saying though. People think of you and they're thinking you're more than you are, and so you're like feeling uncomfortable because they're like, you don't want to portray that you're more than you are.
I think it's more of because I don't feel like I'm someone to be looked up to, because I haven't gotten myself to the level that I feel I need to be at to be looked up to.
What level is that supposed to be?
Fuck,
though?
I don't know. But I feel like I make mistakes. I am not perfect. Why would you look up to me?
Because maybe you're a little bit older and you
Maybe.
you made the mistake so that you can share with them and they won't make them.
That's probably true, but in my mind,
the way you
monkey
think.
mind, I can't figure that out. It's just like, well, I'm not a person
Just
I
be
would
friendly
look up to.
and
Right? I'm just me, and I'm doing whatever I do throughout the day.
yeah.
I do this because of this. I do this because of this. If you want to look up to that, I'm kind of almost oblivious to it unless someone tells me. You know, I've had a friend tell me that they looked up to me, and I was like, why? Why do you look up to me? You know, I couldn't conceive
You
that
couldn't
notion.
figure out what it was that he was
Yeah,
looking up to you
it was
for.
like, because
Did he say?
Because in a way, I looked up to him. You know, because of the way he acted in certain situations. It's like, oh fuck, I wish I could be like that.
And we say the F word a lot.
Yeah.
He does because of military.
I'm
A
a
lot of
cussing-
militaries do that.
I'm a cussing
Me,
man.
I have no idea why I say that word a lot, but I
mean,
do.
Yeah, I think I got it more from
I think I do it
just
from the
being
jail
around,
and being around
around
guys.
guys and stuff.
Guys that have been in military.
This is a over 17 podcast, by the way. I think
She's gonna be 18 in
she will be
like
18.
10 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that.
Well, but what I'm saying is, I think it's uncomfortable to me for someone to look up to me when I look up to some of their personality traits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to tell you? What was I asking? I was going to ask you something else.
Oh, so
Go
you
ahead.
guys wanted to know. So childhood. I just want to go through it super fast.
You can go through it as long as you want.
What
There's no time limit on this one.
grandkids gonna have for me?
I have no idea.
When I'm dead and gone,
The most grim way to look
what?
at
I'm just stating the fact. When I'm dead, I ain't even worried about it anymore. What questions will you guys have?
Well, here comes Mia.
Hi,
Mia,
Miss
what question?
How are you?
Mia, what questions do you have
I
for
do
your
have a
grandma?
question, actually. Do you remember
And I'll repeat
a
it.
while ago? I was just telling Maria and Joanna about this when I think we were visiting your mom in the hospital, and you said, "If this is ever me, I'm going to the forest and hiding."
So
Is
Malia
that still
said,
your plan?
she said it when they were visiting grandma. I'm assuming in the hospital. If this is ever me, I'm going to the forest and what?
She said she would like hide or something
And hide.
not come back.
I guess, and you're wanting to know why she said that?
That and if it's still
And if it's still a plan.
Was mom in a nursing home when I said that, or?
it was something like that. I think she was in a nursing home.
I think it's because, you know, I never knew this because I didn't have to take care of my father I didn't have to take care of him. Mom had her stroke, and I didn't have to take care of her either, but she was hospitalized because she had a stroke.
Yeah.
So you have to be attentive. You know, she's right-handed. Her right side was the one that was affected, so she had to learn how to do everything with her left. So you have to help them because it's new to her too. So you start caregiving, and then, and plus I was still working. So when I would get off work, I would go to the nursing home.
So is it because you just don't want us to take care of you?
That's right. I don't want. So I was sitting there and I thought, you know, it's demeaning because I know my mom doesn't want me to do this. My mom would rather feed herself if she could.
Yeah,
It's
I bet.
demeaning. My mom was a
She
badass bitch,
Yeah,
okay?
she was.
and that's where I get
Grandma
it.
scared me, I'm telling you.
My mom was like my daughter, my middle daughter. Tough and
Mia,
whatever.
if you want to join in, by the way, grab a chair. There's a mic right there.
Not right now. I looked
Okay.
pretty
But anyway, so I knew that it was my mom. It affects the person that had the stroke. She don't want me over there changing her diaper.
Yeah.
This is my mom.
I bet that was humiliating.
Yeah.
To her. I bet.
So it would be
knowing
humiliating
grandma.
to anybody that had any independence.
Yeah.
So when
Especially
Malia and
grandma.
I went to visit mom, I probably made that comment: if this shit happens to me, I'm out of here. I'm heading to the woods. I don't want anybody to find me.
See, that's the same mindset. This is where I get it from, girls. By the way, I get a lot of my attitude from this
we
woman
get
over
our
here.
attitude. We all get our attitude
Yeah.
from grandma.
Yeah,
And
grandma.
I got it from my mom. I'm thinking.
I'm pretty sure because grandma was grandma was so hard ass. Grandma scared me for the longest time. I didn't want to go see grandma because of how fucking how mean she could be. But she made the best cinnamon toast, and it made me want to go over there.
So funny.
Oh my goodness.
I remember grandma, just the sound of grandma yelling at me from the back porch of her yard because I was goofing around with like David or Marcelo. Just, God damn it, boys! What the fuck you doing back there? Just the meanest yell, but fucking get your attention like that. Say, okay, grandma's yelling. We got to do something. I don't know what it is, but whatever she's saying, we got to do. So
See, that's part of the thing I talked about, time frame, where people were scared to make these people mad.
yeah.
And now, these kids that mom yelled at them, they'd be like, "Fuck you,
No,
you
not these two.
Well,
Because
I
these two
know
got
these-
the
I
fucking
know.
fear of death in them.
Well, because
Because-
you're their dad.
Exactly. But you're
There-
my mom. Oops,
But
sorry.
there's a lot of people that don't have you as a dad.
Yeah. Well,
They're friends, probably.
there's a lot of people that are into the participation awards. You know, you did this, even though you didn't get first or second or third place. Here's an award because you did something. I don't believe in that. You get an award because you were in first, second, or third. Other than that,
So you're recognizing people that are mediocre.
yeah, exactly. Don't do that.
Kind of
because
like
that-
our
that
unemployment
makes-
benefits nowadays.
That makes soft people, and soft people.
I have a
do
granddaughter
not
right here
strive
that
for better.
works full time at Lowe's right now, and I don't know how much she makes a week. And then I have another grandchild that's getting unemployment that makes $600 a week. You tell me, and this was on the news. You tell me why they're giving people this COVID unemployment thing when you got people working that aren't making that much. Fuck it. Why work? Why
Yeah,
work?
I know.
So what do you think about
It's-
that?
What I think about that is, here's what I think. I think there's a bill that's trying to be passed. I think, if I'm correct, I haven't read the news in a couple days, but that for essential workers to get paid more money than they currently are making, like $6 or something more an hour, and I think that is great. I think anybody
I
that's an
understand
essential
people
worker
need
should
to
be paid.
live, and I understand. There are the $600 is reasonable, but what for people to live?
Yeah,
okay?
I think the unemployment.
But
thing
when you
is a
have
little
people
crazy.
still working and it doesn't jive with,
I think our economy is going to be shit after this.
yeah,
is done.
you're gonna run out of money.
Well, I don't think we're going to run money, but I think the inflation on the dollar is going to be so high that it's not going to be worth what it was 2 months ago. So 2 months ago, let's say $1 was worth $1. In a year, $1 is going to be worth 50 cents. So that's going to make everything go up, and it's just going to mess everybody up, even people that are paid lower than minimum wage. So I think right now what's going on is there's no balance. I don't want to talk about this because we're going to get into something.
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
know.
we're going to get into politics and shit.
So what's the next question?
I have a question from Mia. She said before she left, she wants to know if, like you said a while ago, before you die, you want to split your tongue. She wants to know if you still want
She already asked me that.
If you what? Split her tongue?
She wants to know if I want to still split my tongue.
You want to split your tongue?
So this is what
What
before
the
I retired. Before I retired, I'm a
When-
Halloween queen, right? I'm the Halloween
Yeah.
queen.
Still.
So I'm always thinking of cool stuff that's scary. All year when Halloween's done, I'm start thinking about the next Halloween, and I'm trying to make props and
But split
blah
your
blah blah blah.
tongue?
Yeah. So I thought, you know what? When I retire, because I didn't want to do it when I was working, I wanted to split my tongue
my
right down the
God.
middle to where
This
when
is
to
brand
where when
new information to
check
me.
this out. So when the kids would come up to the door and say,
I
"Trick
thought
or
I was
treat,"
drinking the whiskey. You're burping over there
I know.
like you're drinking the whiskey.
Well, it's the
You want some
whatever.
whiskey, by
No.
the way?
But so when the kids would come up trick or treating, I could go to the door and, dude, this is my
my
tongue.
God, Mom.
You know, because you can make the one side go
That's
up
fucking
and one go
disgusting.
like a snake,
But why?
just to freak out people, to
I
freak them
guess,
out.
man. Yeah, I can.
But-
I get it. I love to freak out people, but that's
Well, yeah, Mr. Batwing.
That's a. Oh man, I forgot about that. How'd you know about that?
I know.
Did I tell you about that?
Don't get into too much detail.
Oh well, there's always detail.
I know. But anyway, so
Just if anybody's watching this, watch the movie Waiting, and you will know what a bat wing is, and you will know.
now
at
the
what point
18-year-old's
I've
going to
done
be
that.
watching the movie.
That's fine. She'll
She'll be like,
she doesn't watch
"What?"
anything I suggest. I had to force her to watch Mrs. Doubtfire
Oh my God,
because it was
that's
such a good movie.
I
Yeah, exactly.
I watched it with Haven and McKinley up there when I was up there in Spokane, so, and they've never seen it.
Have you watched Good Morning Vietnam?
I've never fully watched it. I think I've got little snippets of
So
it
I don't know why I was in this Robin Williams
Yeah.
mood,
during the first.
but I suggested that to her too, and she still doesn't watch it. And then I suggested Full Metal Jacket, at least the first hour because of the boot camp, because that is fucking
Was Victory Tower there in that
Victory
movie?
Tower.
Or your tower that you guys repel from?
Oh yeah, the 40-foot tower.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in that movie. But even the way the drill sergeant acts in that movie is not exactly what I went through because it was more vulgar. But drill sergeants could be fucking harsh. You know, they could just say some shit and fucking make you feel like a piece of shit. But that's what they have to do. They have to break you down, build you up to make you tougher.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because of the mindset, because you have to be able to live through killing people.
Yeah.
You have to have that mindset. No matter what occupation you go into in the military,
Yeah.
Marines, Navy, you have to be able to kill somebody because you're defending your
Yeah.
country.
The time may come when you have to do that. You have to
Yeah.
be ready to do that.
So I think, and I was one of them. I didn't want to fucking complete that, and it was more of because I never wanted. I missed Mia and Jeanette so much. I didn't think I would see them again for some reason.
Yeah.
I thought my marriage would be over, one, and I thought that I would never see Mia
Well,
again.
the bad thing is too that you really had never been away from home.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So I remember a phone call with you, and I had not been without you either for very long, so it was driving me nuts. But I remember trying to talk to you when you were over in Carolina, and you were going through this, trying to kill people. And I said something about the track by my house, the Davis High School track.
Yeah.
Something was going on over there running on the track, and you go, "What?" And I said, "The track, the Davis track." And you go, "Mom, I'm over here. I don't remember anything. I'm over here they're teaching me how to fucking kill people. I don't remember nothing." And you were so upset.
I feel so weak talking about it, but it was such a mindset change, right? Because you're waking up, you're going to bed at 9:30. You're waking up at 4 a.m. because you got to get ready. You got to make sure that everything's perfect for your inspection before you go to PT. You're doing PT for 2 hours, which is like a 2-mile run, push-ups, sit-ups, fucking jumping jacks. It was such a stressful day. It was like all you could think about is, man, I wish I could be home. I wish I could be home right now.
Like being in prison.
Yeah, it was like being in prison.
It's like being in prison.
It truly breaks you down.
For those that have a life. Some
Yeah.
people, prison is their home. It's better than out here.
And I'm not saying that my shit was tougher than fucking somebody that was 30 fucking 40 years ago, like in Vietnam, because I'm sure that shit was
Yeah, and they were kids.
Yeah, exactly. But still, the drill sergeants at my time were still fucking hard. They'd still tear you down. You would have no fucking self-esteem, and that everybody was on fucking high stress. Fucking like I remember fucking almost trying to get in a fight because someone stole my dryer. Because I was trying to wash my clothes on a Sunday. You only have your free time is only on a Sunday, and it was from I want to say from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you have this limited time to do your fucking laundry. And somebody took my clothes out of the dryer, and it was this big fucking redheaded dude. And I was fucking ready to fucking throw down and beat his ass. And my fucking battle buddy from fucking Jamaica had pulled me away because I wanted to kill this guy.
Just because the clothes in a dryer?
Because he took my dryer. And it's like, that's not reasonable. That's not fucking rational for a normal person.
Well, I think that aggression is part of the breakdown. It builds an aggression in a person to where you can go and kill an enemy.
Probably.
And be aggressive about it.
Yeah, because I remember my favorite time was the actual when we got into the self-defense program and my fucking friends fucking spin kicking me in the fucking chest. That was like the best time. I was like, fuck, I'm getting hurt. Okay, now I'm fucking all this shit has built up to this one thing. Now I know how to react to this stressful situation. And it was funny to me. This my battle buddy making his name was I don't remember his name. His last name was Powell.
You ever get a hold of him?
No. But he was he was funny. He was a little weird, but he's funny. But Jamaican just built like a fucking tanker, like Richard back in the day, like before he got really big, kind of like the skinny, muscular, but knew a little what's it called? Capoeira. It's like a Brazilian martial art.
Oh.
Like spinning, dancing.
Yeah.
And he fucking spin kicked me in the chest and it hurt so fucking bad. Knocked me back, knocked the wind out of me, but I came back and I knocked him in the face. But it was like the funnest time because I'm letting out all of that built up aggression, and then watching the drill sergeants do a fight was also fun because then you're like, all right, let's see who's the toughest drill sergeant.
Yeah.
It was great, but up until I think that was the time where I was like, I just accepted being there, and it was like 6 weeks in, because I think it was 8 weeks altogether.
Yeah.
Because there was a time when, and I don't know if I ever told the story to anybody. There was a time, it was like 6 weeks in, maybe 5 weeks in, one of the drill sergeants, I think I'm drinking too much whiskey. One of the drill sergeants said, "Is there anybody here that still wants to go home?" And I was the only one that raised their hand. Seriously, because I was like, fuck it. I still want to go home because I missed Mia so bad. I missed seeing her, and I knew I was missing out on so much. And I was like, yeah, I want to go home. And he was like, Private Robles, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, I just want to go home. And I started breaking down. I cried. And he was like, I will talk to you after this. And he released everybody, and then we went up to the barracks. And he came up and saw me, and he was like, what is wrong with you? You're almost done with this. You have 2 weeks left. Why would you want to go home now? And I was like, I just miss my daughter. I miss my wife. I was just crying. He was like, man up.
Yeah, you must have been.
Man up, soldier.
Yeah.
You got 2 fucking weeks left. And then you're fucking free. You're really not free. You still have fucking,
Liars.
The schooling to go to. But just to get out of basic. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I know, but I miss her. I miss my daughter so much. He's like, man up. You're not a kid anymore. And this was the nicest drill sergeant. And I was like, all right. So after that, I was like, all right, I got to finish this out. It was just so much stress on you that it was hard to go through. But it was something that I think
you needed to go through.
Yeah, maybe I needed to go through, but I think a lot of people need to go through. A lot of people that don't have that.
It makes you realize what's important.
Life. Exactly.
And it also makes you find your inner strength that you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's...
A lot of us don't do things because we don't think we can do it.
Yeah.
But then you go and do it, and you want to quit, and you just hate this, and I hate them, and you do it, and you feel
because
you've added a brick to your self-esteem.
Here's how I feel from not really that point forward, because it still took a couple of years for me to figure this out. But like I've told Malia many times, because I'm sorry, I'm almost, but you are pretty negative. You do not know you can't do something until you try.
Yeah.
You really don't.
Yeah.
No matter what you think in life, if you don't think you can do that, you don't know until you try.
Because you do succeed.
Exactly, because you may succeed. If you succeed, that's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah, it builds your self-esteem.
Not only that, it's like, holy fuck, I fucking did this, and I didn't think I could do that. What else can I do?
Yeah.
It makes you think of other shit that you fucking haven't tried.
She's not negative, but she's super cautious. Because she kind of doubts herself a little bit, and I think we all go through that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people go through that because they don't let them go through that struggle, right? Why would you put yourself through that if you think you're not going to succeed?
Yeah, it's hard.
Do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because more than likely you will succeed.
Yeah. It's kind of like driving.
Yeah, she did a great job.
It's kind of like driving. Everybody's scared. I got a ticket because I was so afraid to go get my license because I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could get it. I ended up getting a ticket for no license. And what motivated me to go get it was the cop said, "Oh, go get your license and then take this up to the police station. You won't have to pay the ticket." And back then it was $25, which I didn't have.
Put that mic in front of you, Mom.
So anyway, he gives me the ticket. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get my license. So I don't have to pay this $25. And I go up and get my license and go up to the police station, which is where you're at right now. That's where it was.
Well, it was in City Hall still.
Yeah. You walk in the door that you guys closed.
Yeah.
And it's on this side. Right across from the bathrooms, kind of.
I got you.
So I walk in there and I go, okay, well, I got this ticket, but cop said that if I got my license, I don't have to pay the ticket. And she goes, "No, you still have to pay the ticket."
Fuck.
But I drove for 6 years with no driver's license. I started driving at 16. I was borrowing people's cars, driving all to work and whatever.
Oh, so this brings up another question. So I want you to state, give the story of how you met each of our fathers.
Well, I thought you were going to ask me more embarrassing question like, how many men have you had in your life?
Well,
but I already know the answer.
We don't have enough time for that.
No, I can just give you numbers. I've had 11 relationships.
No, just tell
and
me.
I've had 7
just tell me how
people that I really didn't have a relationship
each
with.
Father. I don't even know.
And your fathers are included then. So I met my husband. Oh my goodness. I met my husband I was walking home from high school, and I'm not going to name specifics because I don't know who gets to see this, and I don't need them knowing specifics.
That's fine. Just say what comes to your mind.
Okay, so anyway, walking home from high school, and I was with a cousin of mine who was absolutely drop-dead gorgeous, and she looked like a model. She was like 5'11" and blonde and blue-eyed or green-eyed and very, very fair skin. That was Tina. Okay, so we're walking, and she would turn heads. So we're walking, and it's super hot. School had started. It was in September, and the sun's out, and you're just like wanting to get home. And this car drives by, and he's like, "Hey," pulls over to the side of the road. We're walking. He's like, "Hey." And, we're not the only ones on the street. There's people that got out of school, and they're in front of us and behind us and whatever. And so he's like, "You guys want to ride?" Well, I didn't say nothing because I was just mousy anyway. Yeah. And so she's like, "No." And she was kind of mean. She had black blood in her, so she was mixed. And she always, those were the days when people wore afros. And she had a blonde afro. And then she had a metal pick in that afro, like a comb. It's called a cake cutter. And it's a comb that was wire.
Yeah.
So she had that comb in her hair. And so she's like, no. And so he's like, oh, come on, or whatever, whatever. And she's talking to him, and I'm just there. And so we keep walking, and then she's like, no, I don't want to ride, whatever her reason was. And we start to make the turn, because we had to turn right and go down the next street to get home. And there was some guys that she knew across the street, and then they're like, hey, and she's like, hey. So this guy's trying to talk to her, and she's communicating with the guys across the street, yelling at them. And they were black. And so next thing you know, she's running across the street, and she gets a ride with them. So it leaves me on I'm standing there by the stupid stump. There was a stump there. And I'm just kind of like, okay, bye. I'll see you tomorrow. And he kind of looks pathetically at me. And he goes, do you want to ride? And I said,
I guess.
I said,
you want to ride?
I said, okay. And so I go and I open the car door and I get in the side. And he's a kid, he's 19. And, he's like, where do you live? I go, just go straight up the road. Then he pulls in the road and in the driveway. And then he's like, do you want to go to the movies or anything with me? And I go, yeah, but my mom won't let me go. And, I'll have to tell her that I knew you from before and you're so-and-so and such and so, and that's how.
Was Grandma pretty hard on you? Like, don't be dating the boys?
My mom was pretty, that's what I said. If you're doing stuff, you don't want your mom to find out.
Oh, wow.
My mom was she didn't want me to wear pants. And if I had a skirt on, I had to wear shorts under that. And it had to be down by my knees. And everybody else was wearing mini skirts. So Mom was like that.
Wow.
And now I know why. Because she didn't want nothing to happen to me.
Yeah.
Back then, I just thought she was mean. So that's how I met Tiba's dad. And then, after that, he started hanging out. And he was my mom's guinea pig for Hamburger Helpers. Because that's when they met. That's when they created Hamburger Helpers. And, she bought every flavor.
What year was this? Or what approximately?
71.
71. Jeez.
And so, yeah. So, he got to sit in there and play Yahtzee with my mom. And became her friend. And, yeah, she approved of him. So.
Yeah, well, he's a good guy.
Then I got pregnant and I got married
Even
because that was the right thing to do.
Even back then, he was probably a good guy, right?
He was. He was a kid, but
he's
yeah.
always. I've never not respected him.
Oh yeah, your dad's a great person.
Yeah.
The whole family's they're good people.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I met him. And then we went through struggles. To where, we never argued, but we went through struggles of him finding work. And then I got kind of frustrated because I was much younger than him. And he had interest, like, going out with his friends. And he was drinking age, and I wasn't. And we just kind of split, And then I met another gentleman at a park. I had my oldest daughter then. And she was little. And I think the first thing that I noticed was these two guys in this car. I noticed the car. And it was a 65 Chevy Super Sport, yellow, canary yellow.
That's why.
And it was beautiful.
Always the car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why ladies love the cars.
Yeah, it was the car. And then, I'm playing with her and he's like, hey, how are you? And I didn't know them. There were two. And I go, fine, how are you? And it just started, casual. And he's like, hi, my name's such and such. And I said, yeah, my name's such and such. And then this is my brother. He was with his brother. And then it just kind of like, so you live around here, that kind of thing. And then I said, do you mind if I come by one of these days? I was like, no, I don't care. And then that kind of combined today. And then the next day when that was 3 years worth, So that's how I met him. And then after 3 years, he had an ex, and he was an older man. I thought, well, this would be nice because he's not immature.
Yeah.
And I was 17 when I met him, and he was 31.
Wait, say that again? Let me hear that one more
I was
time.
17. He was 14. He was 14 years older
Leah's
than
like
me.
freaking out.
I was 17, and he was 31. And I was
Wait a
impressed.
second.
And I was listen. And
How is this okay?
And I was impressed because I'm telling you, I had a kid. I had my own place.
This is still not
I'm
okay.
serious. I'm serious. Back then it was. My granddaughter over here, she's got her mouth wide open.
This is the 70s.
But anyway, so
Love
and
is free.
he had a good job with the city of Yakima.
Really? Oh yeah, because he was a refuse person, right? That's right.
And I thought, you know what? This man won't run around, and he won't be doing this, and he won't be acting like a dumbass. So he's a good person.
Yeah, he's got a job.
Yes, and that he did run around, but whatever. So I had my little girl with him, my second child.
Yeah, Felicia.
Yes, and then
Tebow was the first one.
Yes, and then he had an ex-brother-in-law move in with him, his sister's ex-husband. The man had moved away, and after many years came back up here and tried to work out with this man's sister, and it didn't work out, so this guy took him in.
Yeah.
And he was even older.
You like the older guys.
Well, what happened was I found out that this gentleman that I had been with for 3 years, my second daughter's father, I didn't have a vehicle, so I lived in my house and he lived across town. Well, he stopped coming over very often, and I found out from his brother-in-law that he was seeing somebody.
Yeah.
And so I borrowed a vehicle, and I went up to this guy's house, and I took all the stuff that I'd ever given him, and I talked to his ex-brother-in-law. And I said, blah, 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 whatever. So the ex-brother-in-law started coming by my house. Do you want to go to the store? Do you want to do this? Do you want to go?
Sweet talking to you.
And this man, I was 20. I was 20, and he was
started using
40.
that cruise charm.
He was 40. And I thought, well, he's, nice. He told me that this guy was with this woman, and, he just kind of wormed his way in, I guess.
Yeah.
And he had a good job. He worked for Yakima County.
Yeah.
I thought he had a good job. But anyway, so he kind of was in my face all the time. And then I thought, well, I ended up getting pregnant with you.
Wait a second.
And
I
thought,
cut some shit
and
out.
I thought, how did that happen?
One day I just woke up.
Well, I mean, it goes without saying. You're in a relationship with somebody, you're going to be intimate with them.
I know.
But I was amazed because this guy was like super old. And it's funny because I had just had surgery for an ovarian cyst, and I didn't think that I could have a baby.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they do?
They sliced my whole abdomen open and took this grapefruit-sized cyst out.
Oh my God! Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
I was in the hospital for 7 days.
Does that run the family, by the way?
I probably.
Malia, watch out.
It was just something. I don't even know if it runs inherited or what. I don't know. But yeah, I got pregnant after that.
Amazing. And look what came out of that.
And I got my son.
Were all your kids accidents?
Were all your kids accidents is what Malia is asking.
Not the middle one.
Not the middle one. Felicia? You planned Felicia? Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
That are the same category.
Good. I'm proud of you, Flea. You were planned.
Yeah.
You weren't an accident.
But they're not accidents. You know that there's a possibility you're gonna.
Yeah, but
You're gonna
still
have.
an
You're gonna.
accident.
It's just like, well, honey, I don't like the way you say that.
Well,
It's like,
I
I
mean,
was an accident.
well, I mean, I'm not saying you don't love me.
I
I'm
love
not-
you.
Yeah, I know you love me, and I love.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, exactly. Malia's in the same boat. I love her. I love
Okay,
her
so what
much.
else is there questions? Any other questions? So that's how I met your guys' grandfather.
So
I was with him until I found out he was seeing a woman at work. So
What would be a good question for you, Mom?
But I got along with everybody, by the way.
Is
I
there-
still do to this.
Is
Well,
is there any
they
questions
passed,
that
but-
you have for anything that?
no,
think
I already
might-
know my kids are
Yeah, you
were
should.
evil,
We're evil little
and my
shits.
grandkids. I don't have any questions, but
Is Tito's dad your favorite?
I never had a favorite of them.
No, yes, you did.
I don't know any of the others, so he is my
I don't.
favorite.
I don't. It's funny because it's amazing because you can be in love with somebody or think you are. All my relationships, I loved these guys. I thought I did. Maybe I did, but in weird ways. I don't know. But it's funny because after you split up with them in years past, you can't remember shit.
You can't remember nothing.
Well, you
So-
can't really.
So
you
I will.
can't really
I will.
remember.
Let me refresh you on some stuff. I will tell you my favorite boyfriends that you've had. How about that? Let me give you. Let me give you the top couple. I don't even know how many. So I think I like Glenn one of the most. I have no idea why. I think just because he was fucking crazy.
Well, he was a child.
He was a child and he was crazy. Jim, I did not like just because he was.
Yeah, rude.
He got to be a dick. Les, I liked a lot, just because he was super nice. But
I'll tell
don't
you,
know,
I
it
think
was-
my true love. You want to know my true love? Who I think was my true love? Out of all of them,
yeah,
Les. Mhm.
I think he was a good guy. I think he just had.
We just had issues. We had.
Well, I think you guys were super opposites. Like super opposites. Like you both had ideas of where you wanted your paths to go, and they didn't meet up.
Yeah. But I think we truly, like I said, people think they love people.
Yeah.
I believe that Les was the person that he was the first man that I think I truly loved.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is that the one that was at your mom's memorial?
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Les
Yes.
is a great guy. I've never had
Yes.
any doubt that Les was a great guy.
But we also in our life, we had issues. Like I had issues to where
well, I know.
I think I had to fight with people, and if they got mad at me, that showed me they loved me.
Well,
I would
plus-
cause problems, and then you never ever tell a person that has a drinking problem, "Oh, just have one." Just,
Yeah, because you like to smoke and he wanted you to quit, right?
No.
I think that was one of the big issues.
It wasn't that smoking. It was. I don't think he wanted me to stop smoking.
I thought that was one of the big.
He
issues.
had a problem with drinking, and he told me that. And I said, "Oh, just have one, just have one." And then it became to where he would start drinking. And then he'd get upset with me. He had insecurities, and I had insecurities. I didn't think he loved me unless we were fighting. So I would do stupid shit.
Yeah, you
And
needed
then
that
if
fucking
he
shit.
fought with me, then he was jealous, and that showed he loved me. So we were always arguing. But I adored him, and I think he loved me to death, too.
I think so too. I think. he
And
loved
I
you a
think
lot.
we always will, but even though now we have different
And
lives, and we still talk.
I loved his mom's cookies. Oh my god.
He makes
fucking-
cookies.
His
He
mom
makes the
made
chocolate chip
those
chip
chocolate
cookies.
chip cookies were the best cookies ever made on earth.
It's so funny because what he would do is he would make a big bowl of chocolate. He'd be in my kitchen making this huge bowl of chocolate chip cookies, and his brother Dick, who lives with him right now, Dick would come in and then they'd fight. They literally would throw on the ground each other and roll around for this dough. The typical boys. I mean, hilarious, but yeah. So Lester, but I don't know. I've had quite a few boyfriends. Like I said, I had 11 relationships, and I had one for almost 20 years that kind of threaded through all these relationships. Yeah. He just was always there.
Not one of my favorites. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Only because you were not a priority.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that was what made me not.
Feel comfortable and care.
Not really feel
invest.
comfortable.
Invest in that.
Invest in him because you were not his priority.
Yeah.
And if you were not his priority, you weren't worthy.
Yeah.
That's
Well, you know what? When I said my oldest daughter woke, it took me a while, but I had to woke.
Do you
I
remember,
had to
Do you
woke.
remember when I wrestled him?
Yes. And I also remember being thrown on the ground on my back like a bag of flour.
You know,
Poof.
it was
Took everything you could not to punch his lights out.
It felt no. I didn't. I wasn't mad at him. I've never been mad at him. I like him.
Yeah.
As a person. Don't love him.
Yeah.
But when I did that, it was like
Felt so good.
Yeah, I was like, fuck. All right, all these years, fool. This is what you get. And I could have done more. Yeah. But I was like, all right. Yeah. I think you deserve this. Just a little bit.
And that was a person that I had. And I don't know what that relationship was. I think I wanted it to be more.
I think it should have been more.
And it was promised that it would be more. And so it kind of went for years. And then I kept trying to, I thought, I kind of woke up and thought, this isn't going to be more. So I'm going to try to break away. I'm going to try to break away from it. And that's when I would see somebody else for 3 years. But then I'd end up seeing this person on the side.
I honestly think he loved you.
And I'm sure he did.
But
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I felt bad hitting Denny.
Oh.
Remember when I hit Denny?
Oh no.
When we did the boxing match?
Well, they were boxing with these big fat gloves, and he popped Denny upside his head.
And his fucking mask twisted around his head. Because
I don't feel bad now.
Well, no. I don't feel bad now. I honestly think Denny loved you. In a weird way.
In a good Mormon way.
Yeah, in a weird way. But
in a good Mormon way.
When I hit him, and his reaction of like, oh my fucking God, like his face was just like.
I'm sure he loved me and 18 other women, because that's what they do. They gotta take care of all these women.
Oh man, I don't know.
More whiskey.
More whiskey. I think that down deep inside, he's a good guy. He just makes bad decisions. And I think he really did have...
Very much.
I think he loved you. I just don't think he can control the demons within him.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Definitely demons.
Yeah, definitely demons.
So like I said, the grandkids, I think, why did I have so many relationships? I'm almost 65 years old, and I had 11, and those were your dad's. I had, in 65 years, I've had 11 relationships, not one-night stands. I'm talking about 3 years,
I get
2 years. I had one that threaded through all those. I had him, Gordy.
Yeah, when did he start?
When did I start seeing Gordy?
Yeah, was that 92?
No, I started seeing Gordy when I started working at the jail.
So 89? Mm-hmm. Holy shit.
Yeah. Gordy was the first person that ever fed Joey solid food.
Okay, so here's my breakdown of life events. It was, let's see here. We lived on, was it 4th Street? Right? Across the street from the old Harmon Center, the old senior center.
Yeah.
Nobody. I don't remember anybody except for Jack. Oh, and Junior. Jack and Junior.
There was no Jack there. That's Junior.
Right,
that's
but
Jack.
Wasn't Jack there too?
There was no relationship with Jack. He's one of the there was nothing.
But didn't you at one point he was in? You were going to the movies with him because that was the movie I remember.
And I
seeing
thought
him.
that too. No, I never went to the movies with him.
I swear to God, it was him. Mm-mm. I remember going to Speedway with him.
Probably met at the Speedway. He was probably working there.
Okay. Anyway, so it was Junior, nobody else, and then Roy. We lived with Roy on 18th Ave. We're still going to Barge Lincoln, or at least I was for that year. And how long were you in that 18th Ave house?
We weren't in that house. We moved on 16th Avenue.
Was it 16th Ave?
We lived on 16th Avenue, and then we moved to 18th, and then we ended up moving down here to 34th.
What was on 16th Ave?
A yellow house on the corner of Stewart and 16th.
I don't remember that.
Well, it's there. That's where we moved to first.
Stewart and 16th. Mm-hmm. Look that up, Malia, because I need to know this. I need to look up 16th and Stewart, Yakima. What was the 18th no longer exists because they expanded Roosevelt?
Yeah.
Stewart.
So I feel like I've wasted a lot of time not answering questions.
No, you've answered a lot of questions.
Especially if I died tomorrow, then you'd be like, "Oh, I should have asked her."
Well, that's my fault.
I don't know what you want me to really look up.
Just look up Google Maps.
Yeah, I just want you to go to Google Maps and look up that. Go to Maps on that.
7-Eleven, South 16th Avenue.
You know the address and everything? Holy moly. 7-Eleven South 16th Avenue. Type that in there.
I can't quite see this far. Right here?
You need glasses?
No, but like up here.
Go to the beginning. 7-Eleven South 16th Avenue.
7.
South 16th Avenue. That says Union. Oh, right there. Can you put?
Will it show it?
Yeah, it will. You gotta put the satellite image on.
What is this?
There it is, right there. It was yellow though.
Oh.
Basement.
I do remember that. Holy moly! How long were we there?
Yeah, probably 9 months, maybe at the most. Because that's where he was living when I met him.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, you should see this house that's for sale." And I go, "Oh, how many see it?" Every house that I went to clean that he sold, I wanted to move into.
I remember helping
So
you clean.
spoiled.
There was a house down by the post office that we helped clean.
I don't remember that.
It was like a little house.
There was one up here on this Rose Place.
Yeah, there
was one over here,
there was
too.
one over here that
Like-
we were gonna move into, but it had too many ants.
I don't know.
I remember there was ants in
It's
the
like,
driveway.
every house, I could just see myself living there.
He was a real estate agent, by the way. So it was, Roy and then Les,
Mhm.
and then Jim,
Mhm.
and then Glenn, right?
Mhm. No, Gordy.
But then these were all
Gordy.
These were all separated by time, right?
Mhm.
Was it Gordy? Oh yeah.
And then I
because
tried to
it
break
was
up with Gordy
and
to
then
go
it
with
was
Glenn.
Glenn.
And I told Gordy that.
The only reason why Glenn was my favorite because he was fucking off the wall insane
Yes.
and he was entertaining.
And he was 24 years old.
Yes.
And I was 32.
Yes, you were a cougar.
No, he was the one that chased me. No, he was. No, it wasn't me.
He
24 years old, and I was.
and
30
he had good
something.
taste in music.
Well, he was a kid.
Yeah, but I liked him, like because he showed me what not giving a shit can fucking look like. He did not give a shit about what you thought or anything, right? When he took me to fucking try to get Tiva's power back on at Pacific Power, and we walked into the fucking manager's office of Pacific Power, and he's threatening that dude's life.
That's because there was issues.
I was like, holy shit!
There was issues.
This is the amount of power you can have by not giving a shit. Yeah, that guy was scared.
I was with him for a year.
That guy was going to fucking do whatever Glenn wanted. I was scared but entertained at the same time. I was like, oh, wow, is this guy gonna kill this guy?
Yeah. Silly
yeah.
goose.
I think that was, yeah. Why did that end? You just got tired
because
of him?
he was
Too young.
He had not bipolar. He had like manic depression, or to where he could get violent really easy.
Yeah.
And I just was enough.
And this is gonna bring back bad memories. I'm sorry, but I remember the night that we left Roy.
Yeah.
Did he hit you that night?
No. No, he ran up behind me, but
because I remember you waking me up, and you were like, "We're getting the fuck out of here. Get your shit. Get up now. Get up. Everybody, get up."
But see, I caused that.
I just remember, like, what is going on? And we had to get into a cab, and we went and fucking stayed at a motel for like a few nights.
Yeah.
You caused
I
that?
caused that.
I thought
after 3, I wasn't happy. You know that people say, "Oh, if I had all kinds of money, I'd be happy." That's not true, because I was very well taken care of, and I wasn't happy with the person. Not that he was bad. I just wasn't happy. And
Okay.
that's when I started working with Les.
Oh, so you just decided this.
And so we
this
went
is
out.
the night.
It
I'm
was
fucking out of here.
it was the last night that I was working with Les because I was going back to the Forest Service. And so we went out. There were 4 of us that went out. My cousin Terry, me, Les, and another person. And we went out, and I stayed out a little bit too long. So when I came home, that Roy was waiting for me, and he was not happy. Well, I wouldn't be either.
Yeah.
Back then, it didn't matter. Oh, no. That's not true. I drank too much, and I didn't want to go home. That's what happened. And I ended up driving, and when I was going up Tieton by Franklin, I got pulled over for a DUI.
What?
That's what happened.
I did not know this.
But
this was the early 80s.
I pulled in
80s, right?
on 25th. I parked. The cop talked to me, and then he said, "I'm going to give you a ride home."
Oh,
he didn't
back
cite
in the
me.
Day. I love that.
And then I was upset because I had already taken a test for YPD. And I said, "Is this going to affect my..."
Oh, I didn't know you had been trying that long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was 54 on the register at YPD out of like 350 people.
For what position?
For cop.
Really?
And I got pulled,
Oh, man.
But the problem was that I had to weigh 106 pound minimum, and I didn't weigh 106 pounds. I weighed like 96. And so I had that against me too.
Super skinny.
Yeah. And so I'm like trying to gain weight because I was so skinny. And then, last night, and I was going back to the Forest Service, and I'm partying and get drunk, and I don't want to go home to Roy, so I get drunk, and then I get pulled over. So me and this cop sat outside my house, Roy's house, for about an hour talking. And then I went in. And that's when shit hit the fan.
Do you remember the cop's name?
Yep.
What was his name?
He's no longer with us. His last name is Atkins.
I don't know him.
I think it was
Probably
Pete.
been a while.
Pete Atkins.
Oh. That's
I think he
good.
was a sergeant.
Well, that's cool that he stayed there and talked to you, though.
He did, and it's so funny because later I had issues with the vehicle. That car had been given to me by Roy as a birthday present, the car that I left.
Was it the Monte Carlo?
Mm-hmm. And then when I went to get the car, I was told that the car wasn't mine anymore, and I said, "Yeah, it's in my name." And I went up to the police station, and it was in his name.
Oh, man.
And so I talked to Atkins about it, and he said, "I knew shit was going to happen when you went in the house. I knew it." I don't know. He just knew.
It's probably just from years of experience.
Yeah. But I talk to Roy now, too. I mean, he's old, but when I see him, I'm cordial to him, and he's cordial to me.
That's good.
Everybody that I've ever split up with except for Gordy, and Glenn, or not Glenn. Yeah, I don't talk to Glenn either, but I have talked to Glenn. I haven't talked to Gordy.
What about Jim? Have you seen Jim?
No, and I don't know where he's at. But
he went to Oregon, right?
I don't know where he's at.
I thought he went to Oregon with Pat. Anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah. Fuck, I had a question for you.
I don't know. I haven't. Well, Gary.
I love Gary. I liked Gary. Gary was a
Gary's
cool guy.
A sweetheart. He's a sweetheart.
It was, what the fuck was I going to ask you? I don't remember.
Have another quart or whatever you're drinking.
This is only my third
I don't know. That's why I don't want it to be so long that you guys don't ask me any questions. We never get it done.
No, it's fine, Mom. It's just a conversation between me and you.
And since we've been quarantined, I haven't been up here to visit my son except to drop off a little bit of groceries or whatever. Yeah. And then I talk to him and then I leave.
No, we talk for a while.
Outside. I haven't been in his house for a while.
Yeah. How do you like the setup?
I love it. And I love your bathroom. It's done.
It took me a while to get these fucking lights up today. I was like, oh my God. It's really
beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
I do too.
Then Mia bought me these pictures and stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Star Wars things.
Any questions, Missy?
I
just want to say thank you for that sign, by the way.
Oh, the sign. Yes.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. Randall and I were really confused on why you were sneaking over to her house. I was like,
She was sneaking over to Malia's house or Malia's friends' houses and giving them signs.
The graduation, we got a graduate here that, of course, has been cheated out of the ceremony because of this pandemic crap. And so I bought some Eisenhower 2020 graduate signs for people and had to go collect mullahs. But any word? Somebody asked me, Priscilla asked me today about if I knew anything about your graduation. If it is a parade, so whose car are we going to decorate?
My truck.
Okay, I did talk to Madison's mom about that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll let you ride in the back. And
well,
then
you find out if that's okay, because I don't know why,
I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
You should be able to ride in the back.
Well, she asked me today if I was going to be in it with her, and I said, yeah.
You're driving it, aren't you?
Yeah, I said, we'll do the truck. Yeah, she can't drive it.
Yeah, can you guys sit in the back on chairs? Like a float?
I'm sure it'll be fine. They haven't given up too many details yet.
That's what I'm wondering, if it'll be all right if you're sitting in the back of a truck. Because I think Davis is doing it too. And then somewhere back east, they're talking about this movie theater setting to where you can actually, to where they would, like the mall parking lot or something.
Yeah, they said they would do like a drive-in thing.
Yeah. Like out there at Sears, where the parking lot's all empty.
We were joking about that and saying that they'd probably have like a stage where you could drive the car up.
Oh, yeah.
Get the car.
Get the diploma and then drive down.
Well, I'm kind of concerned because we have a prom dress that's like being held hostage at Lynn Paul's. They haven't called to say, if they're ever going to open.
They're not open.
But they fitted her, so all they have to do is sew it and then have me come and pick it up.
I would tell them not to do it. I would just tell them to stop. Just because she's not going to go to prom.
I can't. It's not open. The dress is paid for.
I mean, if they call you to do the alteration.
No, the dress is paid. It's done.
That's your
It's
new
our
wedding
dress.
Malia, when you get married.
That's a beautiful dress.
You're going to get married in that dress.
Well, I'm afraid she's going to be too fat to fit it. With this pandemic. If you gain any weight, that dress is not going to fit.
She hasn't gained any weight. She just eats fruit and vegetables.
She's a little fruit cake.
She's a vegetarian. She's a vegan.
Crazy girl.
She is.
I love her. Are you excited to go to college?
They're doing online classes.
Oh, yeah.
So she's not happy with that?
That I decided to stay for YBC.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, you didn't tell her that yet? So Malia has decided to stay to YVC instead of going to Wazoo.
Why?
Just for 2 years.
Because it's cheaper.
Is
I
it?
want to save up for a car.
And the other part is that it's you take the prerequisites before you go to university.
Oh, before you go off.
So
Okay.
it's better for
I
them.
don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, Priscilla's doing online
I'd
schooling
rather be.
I'm trying
through
to
YVC. Priscilla is right
Yeah.
now.
Sucks.
She's doing it. She
I'm
says,
trying
I'm
to convince
acing
her
it.
to be some kind of person
one?
that does this
Yes,
stuff.
yes, probably.
She's right now. She is by the way, anybody that's looking at the Facebook page, Malia is in charge of it. Yeah, she is the one that's answering the messages and sending out friend requests. So if you're getting friend requests, it's from her.
I did not do that the other day,
She's
by the way.
doing that.
He was sending them.
She is my
Yeah,
technologist and my social media manager.
Awesome. I
So-
love
Sent
that
it to my
title.
coworker.
Yeah.
I was terrified.
No. Don't even lie. She is the social media manager, so she is in charge of this podcast, Malia Robles. If you have any questions or want to hire her, please contact the Podemic at gmail.com. We are loaning her out for $30 an hour.
Yeah. Well, that's good, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good. You can't be too bad. Priscilla's doing really well online.
The good
with
thing
that.
right now is that
Yeah,
she
she's
is
really doing really good.
enjoying this. She's over there handling the camera angles. I'm trying to teach her as much as I can. I know she doesn't know a whole lot, but
Yeah.
she's involved in everything, and I've given her all of the accounts, so she's in charge of it.
She's the account miser.
Yeah. She's the one that's going to promote us, and she's going to get us going. She's going to get this popular. Hopefully, start a GoFundMe so that we can get better equipment.
I've heard GoFundMe
Probably.
Because I don't remember.
You're not on the mic, so nobody can hear you.
I know.
You hear they're kind of weird. GoFundMe's are weird.
I think they take a percentage of.
They
what,
do. I made a
well,
donation.
I think they have to.
Well, I
right?
made a $50 donation, and they charged $7 for that.
Yeah. I think they have
So-
to keep that service running
Yeah.
because somebody has to run the service. So I think that's okay. And I think eventually we probably will set up something to get better equipment because right now I have this 10-year-old camera pointed at you. I have a webcam that I bought 2 or 3 years ago, and then I have some makeshift stuff.
It works.
It works. I mean, yeah, we do what we can. We got to MacGyver everything we can.
But it works.
I bought a majority of this for other purposes, but it seems to be working pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like some better equipment, like better mic handles and stuff that doesn't make noise when you move it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's doing good. I think this is what we can do
Yeah.
with what we got.
So are you going to have the next person is going to be Felicia?
I don't know. I've had a couple.
Skype thing. It'll be so fun.
You know what? I would like the people in the comments to ask or to say who they would want to have.
Has a lot of people commented?
No, it's mainly been you.
That's what mothers do.
Yeah. Anybody that can comment, please. I would like to know who you would like to see. What my plan with this was originally to get the family involved. I would like to get everybody in the family on here because I think everybody has a story that needs to be told. You know, me, you, Thibaut, Felicia. Excuse me. The girls. Malia, the first podcast was Malia, and it was just a test.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
we're
was-
redoing that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to redo that.
Well, always keep the first one though.
More than likely, the next one will be Malia.
I have the very, very first one. It's called Alien Head.
Yeah, Alien Head is great. Malia, can you bring up
Bring
Alien
up
Head?
Alien Head, please.
Go ahead and bring that up, Malia.
This is their very first little.
But
little
Malia
they're so
was the
cute.
first one because I knew she was going to be part of this the whole time. She supports me. She supports my ideas,
Yeah.
and she likes to be part of these things. So I think I might have her next, just to
That's fine to redo.
just to redo the first. The first one was really a test one. So we need to get a real one on here so that me and Malia can have a good discussion.
Yeah.
After that, I would think maybe Flea, depending on her availability. Look at that alien.
She's
head.
off on the weekends. So this is Alien Head. And this is Malia messing with Michael's computer.
Go ahead and
And
full
she was
screen
little,
that, Malia.
so sweet.
God, that was back on the
Look
13th,
at how fast they grow.
13th Ave apartment.
Hey, so cute.
She is so cute. I remember. I don't even remember.
Look.
I got this webcam, and I said, Malia, look at this. I got this webcam, and they can do different stuff on it. And she was like, Dad, show me. And I showed her, and this was the result. It was so good. Oh.
Look how young you were.
Yeah, I think you. How old were you, Malia?
Well, this was in 2008.
Oh my God, 6 years old.
Oh, 2000. Wait, what does that say?
2009.
9,
I'm sorry.
7 years old. She was still. This was during my divorce.
7.
I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment. I just started at the city. This was probably this was a year and a half into it. Had my visitations every weekend, every other weekend. So when Malia and Mia were over, I would do what I could with them. Oh, that was a good time. It was a good time. It was a good little apartment. I think the girls enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good
Well,
time.
it's better now, though.
Yeah, it's way
Much
better
better
now.
now.
I think we're in a place now where everything's better and everything's happier and no complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it because it's getting late. I know it's
Yeah,
getting
you
late.
think it's getting late?
I know it's
Well,
getting late.
let's wrap it up. I appreciate it, Mom. Do you have anything to say to any of our guests that have watched this podcast?
No, I'm sorry I broke down earlier, but I love my kids.
No, we know you love us, Mom.
And I love my grandkids, and I really have some awesome great grandkids too. I hate this. I hate this quarantine stuff.
It happens.
You know, I want to go see my brother Paul, and I can't go to Spokane, and you know,
Paul would be a good person to have on here.
Yeah, Paul still works though a lot, so. But yeah, I'm pretty lucky. You know, I'm retired, and if anybody knows of any, I need to find a cheap house to buy or a lot for my brother. You know, let me know. Disabled brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you hear of anything, see of anything, whatever.
Yeah, put it in the comments. Also put in the comments if whoever you want.
I think
whoever else you want to be on the
first, because
podcast.
Tiba, I think, still working like 9 days a week.
Is she?
I don't know. I haven't seen Tiba for a month.
Yeah, I think my plan is to have people in the family on here first, and then I'm going to start branching out to others. I know one of my employees have asked to be on here.
Oh, that's awesome.
One of my good boys, Nathan McDaniels. I know you're watching this, hopefully.
That's cool.
He is the Joe Exotic of Yakima.
Oh, my Lord. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love him.
Get to know a little bit about him.
Yeah. And also, I wanted to say, because I forgot to mention this, because I only mentioned the tech part of my section, was that my app support section, they're also doing a good job. They're working from home. They've worked from home since the beginning of this, doing the best they can from home.
No issues? You guys are doing pretty good, huh?
I think the biggest issue right now, and it's not just for my section, it's for most of the sections, is that they're missing being around people.
Yeah.
You know, they're really sociable, and so when they're not around people, it's really, I think it becomes discouraging.
It's a change.
It's a big change.
You know that they're probably not ever going to have another buffet again. And I love buffets. I am the buffet queen. Man. Vegas. Oh, yeah.
I think they will.
No, they've been talking about it on the news. They don't think that, but these restaurant owners don't think they're going to do buffets anymore, just because of the tongs that, people touching, and then you have to touch it, and then you.
Well, what if they make it to where somebody else is giving it to them? I think there's ways around that. I think it's a bad situation, no doubt. What we're in right now is going to make people's lives change, but I think there's ways to figure out around that.
To adapt.
If one person's doing the food serving, I think that's better than multiple people grabbing the tongs and throwing it on their plate. So I think there's ways around that. I can't see buffets going away. I think too many people like that. I like it.
Love buffets.
Yeah. Chinese buffets.
But anyway, thank you all for watching, and
appreciate it.
I'm sorry they didn't have a lot of questions, or maybe I said too much. I don't know.
You know what? We can always have you back on, Mom, if there's more questions. If there's more questions, please put those in the comments. We appreciate them. And if you
really miss seeing people, and I miss visiting, but you know what? I still go to the store.
Yeah. If you miss her, you can just always watch this podcast.
Either that or meet me at Costco in the line. Actually, yesterday I saw one of my ex-coworkers at Lowe's, and I talked to him for about 15 minutes. And then I was paying for my stuff at Lowe's, and I get a phone call, and it's my other ex-coworker, my friend Terry. And she's like, "Are you at Lowe's?" And I'm at the I'm playing, right? And I have my granny phone up to my ear, and I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Where are you?" And I go, "I'm getting ready to go out the door." And she said, "Well, we're on aisle." I go, "Where are you?" "We're on aisle 37, And I'm like, "Well, I'm leaving." So I guess Lowe's is the meeting place.
Lowe's is the place to be. Isn't that their slogan?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know. It sounds right. It sounds right.
Lowe's is the place to be. Anyway, so thank you all for listening.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Leave us comments. Please. Give us likes. Appreciate everything. Wear your masks.
N95 mask. So this is if anybody was curious to know.
Do it right for less. That's Lowe's.
Do it right for less.
I like the other one.
What
This is
was
the
it?
place to be.
Anyway, thank you all for listening.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.